today. At 4:10, Bo Rugg, OHSAA football administrator. There could be some changes coming in the Ohio High School football playoffs. Bo Rugg coming up at 4:10. And we'll talk to our good buddy Steve Dorshuk. We'll talk a little Cleveland Browns, and sadly, it looks like the end of the Nick Chubb era. But first of all, we're going to talk a little Guards ball as we bring in Al Pulaski, Cleveland Guardians TV. You can check them out every night pre and post. And we're going to talk a little Guards here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Al, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, Sam. Good to talk to you, my friend.
Good to have you. I know you're busy, and my gosh, you talk about a long last couple of days at the ballpark. Have you recovered yet?
Boy, it has been a long couple of days.
Jeez.
The good thing is, at least I was stuck at a ballpark instead of stuck at an office. So I always remind myself that while I'm watching the raindrops or just watching the clouds, whatever the case might be, I could be in a cubicle crunching numbers. So I was able to get through it okay.
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a wild and woolly homestand, much deserved after the long trip to start the year. Now we're back on the road again, but I guess I got to start first with one set of numbers, 250/250, and we're talking about Jose Ramirez. How good has Jose been this year, his entire career? What a special fella.
Yeah, he's, what's amazing with him is, too, that he's done all of this for so long now. I mean, he's been at this level of hitter since 2016, really. His first couple of years in MLB, if you can remember, were a struggle when he was a utility guy, even played a little left field. But what's been impressive is he's done it for 10 years. At the plate, he has shown zero signs of slowing down. He's even become a little bit better hitter with his experience. And just so many things he does, Sam. I mean, the way he can turn on an inside pitch, the way he can go the other way with an outside pitch, the way he does it from both sides of the plate almost equally well. I would say his power from the right side of the plate is even better than the power from the left side of his plate. And he doesn't bat from the right side nearly as much as he does from the left. He probably does it about 1/4 of the time. And then his base running, to me, too, it's his instincts at reading balls is just off the charts. He gets bases that nobody else does because of the jumps he gets. There's no hesitation. He sells out when he goes for it. To have a player like this on your team, man, it certainly makes life easier because you've got one of the best all-around players in the game. I know his defense might have slowed down just a little bit, to be fair, but as far as a hitter and a base runner, I mean, man, it's about as good as you can get on offense.
It's just, Jose is such there's so many, the straw that stirs the drink, the guy that, the face of the franchise. There's so many adjectives you could use for Jose. And when he's on, this team is so much fun to watch, Al. They win. The building gets excited, and it just seems to all come together around number 11.
Yeah, it certainly does, and the crowd has certainly supported him. And he's a guy that, when they sing their Jose, they show their affinity for him and how much that he loves them, they love him. It's a great relationship. It truly is. It's one of the best, player-fan relationships I've ever seen, and there's been a lot of good ones in Cleveland. Most of them have been good, but this just, again, kind of takes it to another level. And by Jose signing that long-term deal, taking under market value to stay in Cleveland because he wants to be in this organization, he wants to play in this city, in front of these fans, that says a lot. And if there's one thing that Clevelanders are, even outside of sports, Sam, you know this, they're very loyal. And if you show loyalty to them, they will love you forever. And Jose Ramirez is pretty much in that, he's in that basket of people, not just, athletes, but people that I think the city will love forever.
Al Pulaski is our guest, CLE Guardians TV. Check him out pregame, postgame as he gets you ready for the Guards and talks about the Guards after the ball game is over. Also, there was a nice little 450-foot home run in the 5th inning by John Kenzie Noel. And I saw a stat. This is the 12th time since Major League Baseball StatCast started back in 2015 that a Cleveland batter had gone at least 450 feet deep at the ballpark. How prodigious was that blast?
It was something. When it left the bat, obviously you knew it was gone. There was now the only question was, how far up the bleachers does it go? I thought it was going to fall short of the scoreboard. It did, but only by about 6 rows. I mean, we were getting close to Mark McGwire territory. Not quite there, but we were getting close. I mean, when you talk about that, and I was at the ballpark the night that McGwire hit that home run in '97.
Oh wow! Okay.
Off the scoreboard. Yeah, that was something. I mean, Noel had pretty much the same path, just, I don't know, but 25, 30 feet shorter. There's some estimates that said it went over 500 feet, but nobody really knows for sure. But for Noel, they measured that at 450 feet, 115 exit velo. A lot of raw power, a lot of raw talent. If he can, if you make a mistake to him in his wheelhouse, that's what happens. But his area, he needs to lay off some of the bad pitches that he swings at. Some of those pitches on the outside corner, he's gotten better at going with. I will say that. He's been working on it in the cage as well, going the other way with those pitches. But that's his one area, driving the ball to the opposite field. If he ever gets a handle on that with what he can do to the pull side, I mean, look out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, and I don't think it's just as simple as getting more at-bats and more playing time. Maybe it is. But I would venture to say if it's consistently he's getting 3-4 bats every day, and he's working on that stuff in the cage and on the side and get the tutelage from the staff, you may see a much higher average for John Kinsey.
Yeah, he's willing. He's showing a willingness to go the other way as much as power hitters do. I mean, at the end of the day, you're never going to expect him to be like Stephen Kwan, who can just spray it to all fields and he'll hit it wherever it's pitched and to have an eye like that. But Noel's eye is not bad. His willingness to go the other way, not bad. I've seen some guys that played Major League Baseball and even in Cleveland that just absolutely refuse to do anything but pull the ball and try to use all their power that way and swing like a maniac with 2 strikes. Noel with 2 strikes has shown, okay, I understand that I've got to be able to hit the ball where it's pitched, to put it in play. He hasn't had a ton of success with that yet, but he's trying. He's working on it. And, you bring up a good point, Sam. Staying up here right now, he's going to be a platoon player. He'll occasionally get in against righties. If he went to AAA, played every day against righties and lefties and worked on those things, would he become a better hitter in the long run? I mean, that's a great question and something to ponder. The other thing is, you'd like that power right now on the major league club. And that's the other thing you're weighing, because ultimately it's about winning games at the top level. You want to develop those guys continuously too. And Noel is certainly not a finished product. But is he best at this level right now, or would it be best at AAA? I don't know. I mean, we'll see how the next month plays out, but it's definitely an interesting question.
Talking some Guardians baseball, Al Pawlowski here on AM 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show on this Feel Good Friday. All right, back on the road, up north of the border, a 3-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays coming up. Former University of Akron Zip, Chris Bassett on the mound for the Jays, and Logan Allen for the Guards. What does Logan need to do, Al, to kind of turn things around here a little bit?
Command, control. When he was going well in April, he had a run of 3 straight starts, 16 innings total, 1 run allowed. He was fantastic. The last outing against Boston, he got a little bit too much of the plate with his pitches. So for him, he has to live on the corners, and he has the ability to do that. He's showing that, just not consistently game in and game out. But when he lives on those corners and hits his spots, and I get it, that's the recipe for any pitcher, but especially for Logan, he's got enough movement on those pitches. He's got enough downward action on it. He doesn't necessarily have to strike guys out. It's nice when he does. But with the downward action, with the way he throws the ball, he can avoid a lot of solid contact. So for him, he's got to stay out of the middle of the plate. When he puts it in the middle of the plate, that's where he gets into trouble.
Al, I had a nice conversation with Matty Underwood a couple of days ago on the show, and I asked him, where he thought the Guardians would be about this time as far as number of games played. And I want to get probably throw the same question to you, where we're sitting at right now, games played, point in the season, or you thought the Guards would be where they were, a little behind, a little ahead. How do you see it?
This is about where I thought they'd be, to be perfectly honest with you. I had a couple different scenarios in mind. If as long as the pitching stayed healthy, I felt they could be right here, even with, some questions with the offense. Those were the questions going into the year, especially the lower half of the lineup. I mean, there's not many questions I have about Stephen Kwan or Jose Ramirez. Those guys are as solid as it gets, 2 of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. Slightly different hitters, but with what they do, you can't get much better than what Kwan does for a leadoff guy. You can't get much better than what Ramirez does for a middle of the order guy. But my questions were, could Lane Thomas do what he did last October this season? Could Kyle Manzardo continue his development? Could Carlos Santana get back to what he was, a couple of years ago as a hitter? We know he's going to be able to take pitches. He has a great eye. The glove is much improved from when we last saw him in Cleveland. But could he be that consistent hitter? Would Bo Naylor develop? Would some of the guys like Brian Arocchio be able to do what he did last October?
Mm-hmm.
So those were where a lot of the questions were. And, to be fair, there's still a lot of questions there. I think we've seen Manzardo answer the most. Lane Thomas got hurt, unfortunately. But I think, when he was healthy, we were seeing Lane Thomas be a pretty solid Lane Thomas type of hitter. But can these other guys, can Rocchio develop? Can Gabe Arias continue to develop not only offensively, but he's not going to be Andres Gimenez at second base. Not many people ever will be. He's one of the greatest ever at that position defensively. But can he become a better defender than what he is on that side of the infield? Those are the questions that are going to have to be answered as the season plays out, Sam. And I think that, you're going to see a couple of guys answer those and continue their development at the plate. And like baseball goes, you're probably going to see a couple guys that, won't take the steps that you need to take. So right now, I think that, offensively, top part of the order, I love where Manzardo's going. I think he's going to be a very solid major league hitter. The power's coming. He's hitting in the clutch. Last step now is to be consistent at this level to get the average a little bit higher. I think he's going to do that. The other guys, the jury is still out. They certainly can. They have the ability, but will they be able to take those steps? And will that bottom of the order become a more consistent hitting group? That's going to be a key piece. The other part of it is, can the pitchers stay healthy? If they can, this is a very good pitching staff top to bottom.
No doubt about it. I was talking to some friends of mine a couple of days ago, and they're pretty knowledgeable baseball people. And we were talking about Stephen Vogt and when he got hired and what we thought when the hire was made, watched Voter do his thing, and now come back for a second year. And sometimes, Al, you see managers, skippers, head coaches, whatever, they kind of fall into a little bit of a sophomore jinx for whatever reason. I don't see that here with Stephen Vogt, and I really enjoy watching him manage the game, work with Carl and the rest of his staff, and I know the players love playing for him.
Yeah, he's, when you look at the guy that he replaced in Terry Francona, it's, he's a Hall of Fame manager, so it's hard to replace a guy like that. You really don't. You're just the next guy in line after a Hall of Famer. And that's tough when you got those shoes to fill. It wasn't like he was replacing a guy that nobody liked or replacing a guy that didn't have much success. He's replacing a guy that everybody liked. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't like Tito. And then a guy that was incredibly successful at field manager in Major League Baseball, both in Cleveland but also in Boston too, and the run of success that he had. Very difficult to do. Somehow he's done it. I mean, he's been able to. I'm not saying he's Tito. He's not. They're different guys. They have some similarities in their style, but they also have some differences too. But the thing that Stephen Vogt has impressed me the most with, in his first ever managerial job, just a couple of years removed from playing, he was able to pretty much just pick up right where Tito left off and continue the sort of winning tradition and development of younger players and making the right moves that Tito was able to do too. So the fact that Stephen Vogt had the incredible success he did his rookie year, and now this year follow that back up. I mean, here we are in May. He's got an above 500 ball club. Once again, the American League Central is going to be very competitive, just like it was last year. And Cleveland's, again, if they stay healthy, they're going to be right in the thick of this. They have enough talent to win the division. They have enough talent to go deep into October again. And a big part of that is having a manager that's calm, that people believe in, that lets you play and lets you grow as a player, yet still knows when to make the right moves, when you change the pitchers out, who you write down in the lineup, and when you make those pinch hitting decisions or pinch running decisions late. Stephen's been very good at that. So it's been very encouraging, and he's another great guy. That, again, I don't know anybody that doesn't like Stephen Vogt. So Cleveland's been very good here with the managers the last couple with him and Tito.
Yep, there we lost him. What are the odds? During an interview with Al Pulaski, we get an EMS warning for severe weather. What are the odds? Well, it just happened. I have to text Al and apologize. Those things are just kind of out of your control. So thanks, Al, for chatting Guardians baseball with us here on the Sam Bourquin Show and AM 1310 WDPN. Good stuff talking about John Kenzie Noel, talking about the starting rotation, the job that Stephen Vogt has done. Obviously, I mean, what else can you say about Hosey? 250 home runs, 250 stolen bases. Stephen Kwan has just been, I mean, who saw that? Well, obviously the Cleveland Guardians organization saw it, but who saw Stephen Kwan from Oregon State doing what he has done in a Guardians uniform the last couple of years? That's wild. So, Guardians and the Blue Jays are coming up this weekend. Again, Bassett and Logan Al in the pitching matchup tonight up at Rogers Center. I was looking at the weather up there. It's 55, so I'm pretty sure that the roof will be closed tonight up in Canada. All right, 25 minutes past the hour. We will step away. We'll come back and kind of regroup, reset, let you know who we've got coming up on the show, and we'll keep it rolling here on a Feel Good Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN, streaming live, AM 1310, WDPN.com. Stay with us.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back on the show. And I'm going to tell you what, this is how good of a guy Al Pulaski is. He got interrupted by an emergency weather report, but he called us back, and Al's back with us here on 1310. Al, how you doing, man? What are the odds?
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, my gosh. We've had, well, you know all about the weather up in Cleveland, and we've had the same stuff down here, and it looks like it's getting ready to fire up severe again. So I appreciate you calling back, and we'll just keep another couple minutes, and we'll let you roll into your big weekend coming up. So we were talking about Voter and a lot of the great guys on the club. I know in a lot of ifs, but we should have some guys coming back off the DL here soon, either pitching or position players. And if, things continue the way they go in the Central Division, I wouldn't put it past this club to be there on top at the very end, would you?
Yeah, I mean, the depth that we've seen too, that's the one positive with the injuries. You hate to see them for the individual guys that get hurt, obviously, and then you hate to see it for the team, especially guys that are going to play important roles for you or already have in the recent past, like Lane Thomas, for example, that to have him out now, that hurts. And, Paul Sewald went out with an injury. He's supposed to be a key member of his bullpen staff. But, if Bieber comes back healthy, and so far he's definitely on track to do so, he's slightly ahead of schedule. He's supposed to throw live batting practice this month. There's a chance he could be playing in a competitive game, whether that's, a minor league game or in Arizona by the end of this month. If that goes well, he's going to have, there's going to be at least a couple, 2, 3, 4, whatever it's going to take rehab starts for him. He could be back in the major league rotation by June. That would be the best case scenario. Worst case scenario right now, assuming no setbacks, would be the All-Star break. But right now, Shane's on track, from what I've heard, to possibly make a major league start for Cleveland in the month of June.
Awesome. All right, I got to ask you, because we had a couple people chime in while we were talking to Manny the other day. Travis Bazzana, wow, is he striking the baseball? And hey, Al, when's he coming up to the big leagues? But boy, the trajectory, it's looking really good, isn't it?
It is. And sometimes we have to remember at this time last year, he was playing college baseball.
Right.
So he's already at the Double-A level. Just hit his second home run the other day. It was a leadoff home run. He's hitting around 250, give or take. But yes, he's hitting the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
And as you well know from covering them for years and being down there, I mean, the Eastern League and where the Double-A is with Akron, that's probably the toughest league for a hitter. You've got a lot of good pitching there. That's where usually the top prospects reside. So if you can just get through Double-A, in my opinion, from what I've seen, because you can see some Class A averages that are pretty lofty, whether it's at Lake County or whatever organization you're with. You can see some Triple-A averages that might get a little bit lofty because you're facing a lot of guys that are just, playing in Triple-A as insurance for the big league club, and they're nothing more than fifth starters at best. But at Double-A, you've got a lot of good young pitching there. That's where the guys that were successful at Single-A and they expect to eventually make the majors, that's where they hang out. You don't have a lot of old-timers there. You really don't have any. You don't have guys that are coming down or just hanging out, so you got an extra arm in the organization. So if he can hit like he is now, I would assume a promotion to Triple-A would be happening before the year is up, and that would put him on pace to, is there a chance he could be up by late this year? If he catches fire, sure, there's a chance. But more than likely, sometime in 2026 is the target time for Bazzana to be up here. But I feel pretty confident we'll see him in Cleveland by next year.
Sounds like a plan. Al, I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate your patience during the little break there. Doing a great job on the CLE Guardians TV with all your cohorts, and we'll chat again down the road. Have a great weekend, pal.
All right, Sam. Thanks a lot. Good talking to you. You too.
You got it. Al Pulaski, Cleveland Guardians TV, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. The news and weather's next.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Hiring in April was down slightly from a revised 185,000 in March and came in above economists' expectations for a modest 135,000. The Labor Department reported the unemployment rate remained at 4.2%. President Trump's aggressive and unpredictable policies, including massive import taxes, have clouded the outlook for the economy and the job market and raised fears that the American economy is headed toward recession. But today's report showed the job market remains solid. Apple joins other companies, including Hershey and General Motors, in warning consumers of potential price hikes in the wake of President Trump's tariffs. They estimate they could take a $900 million hit this quarter. ABC's Alexis Christoforous has more.
We know Apple said it's going to start shifting its supply chain, which it had done really since the first Trump administration. But it's moving things over more to Vietnam and to India to get around these China tariffs. But, Apple's not the only one. We heard from GM this week saying that it expects the tariffs to cost it about $5 billion this year. And a number of companies have already said they're going to have to raise prices.
More U.S. children have died this flu season than at any time since the swine flu pandemic 15 years ago. The CDC today said 216 pediatric deaths already have been reported. That eclipses the 207 reported the previous flu season. And this is the most since the 2009-2010 H1N1 global flu pandemic. There are likely several contributors to this season's severity, but one pediatric infectious diseases specialist says a big one is that fewer children are getting flu shots. While flu vaccinations may not prevent people from getting ill, research shows they do prevent hospitalizations and deaths. Newark, New Jersey is a major New York area hub airport, especially for United Airlines. Now we find out air traffic control problems that caused major flight delays and cancellations this week is going from bad to worse and will stretch into the summer. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Earlier this week, flights at Newark were grounded because of air traffic control equipment and staffing issues. Passengers were stuck.
I don't remember things being this bad.
And now Newark controllers who were on the job during 2 brief equipment outages this week are saying they were traumatic events. When a controller files that claim, they can be off the job for 45 days to recover from the traumatic event. That'll make staffing problems even worse at Newark. Controllers have been angry about Newark air traffic control jobs being moved to Philadelphia. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's 72 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
73 warm degrees for your Friday afternoon high, but scattered showers and storms could get you wet if you're outside. Cloudy for the most part all day long. Overnight, more scattered showers and storms. Our low, 55. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Of all the ways to get ahead in life, we're one of them. And we're legal. The John Tesh Radio Show.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room.
You're just trying to be better. We're just trying to help. The John Tesh Radio Show.
Join me for music and intelligence for your life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's intelligence for your life.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills, land your next job, or refine your resume, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We will provide everything you need to succeed, from resume assistance to job search guidance and everything in between. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Military personnel are returning home with specialized skills. Hire smart, hire a vet. This message courtesy of Wisman's Apex Tree Service in New Franklin, where they're specializing in residential and commercial tree removal, proper pruning, and tree maintenance. Check out their Facebook page and visit them online at apextreeohio.com or call 330-807-8398. 330-807-8398 for Aaron Wisman and his crew at Wisman's Apex Tree Service, reminding everyone to hire smart, hire a vet.
This is the Sam.
And welcome, boy, the weather. Oh, the weather. The weather is firing up today. And I do expect us probably to have a lot of warnings today from the EMS, and we'll be tracking those things as well. I know Jeff Mears has got you covered back in the 1310 WDPN newsroom. So if it gets a little wild, woolly, and crazy, we'll let you know here. So make sure you stay with us here. We'll be with you until 6 o'clock this afternoon on the Sam Bourquin Show. Okay, I want to thank Al Pulaski for joining us from CLE Guardians TV. Had a lot of fun with Al. We dodged an EMS warning. Al called back. We got to finish the interview up. That was really cool. Okay. We are expecting to hear from Mount Union head baseball coach, the Hall of Fame skipper, Paul Hesse, is due to join us here any minute to talk about the Purple Raider baseball team this year. And I'll tell you what, they are firing on all cylinders. And it could be a special time coming up here for the Raider baseball team, the way they are playing. They're scheduled, I believe, to play a doubleheader tomorrow against Muskingum. Now, with all the crazy weather, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I know they took care of their business yesterday. They beat Washington and Jefferson. I believe 10-8 was that final score. So that should put Mount at 27-8 on the year. And again, they've got a lot of stuff going on. Again, if you can play tomorrow, if you split, hopefully you sweep Muskingum. Don't let anything to chance. That should wrap up the OAC, and then they could host some games in the OAC conference tournament. And I just got a message from SID Nate Larica. He's waiting on trying to get a hold of Coach so that he can call in. So stand by for that. Purple Raider baseball fans, we'll get the Hall of Fame coach on here, hopefully within the next couple of minutes. I was just going down and looking at their schedule. And, okay, so they did not get to play yesterday at W&J. They got rained out. So they're 26-8 on the season, and they'll be at Muskingum tomorrow, weather permitting, a doubleheader. It looks like they've already moved that game to Sunday. They're going to play a doubleheader Sunday. Ooh. That might, boy, if it's not too bad, I wouldn't mind making a little road trip down there. Catch up with my old ball coach, Doug Miller from Central Catholic, too. He's the assistant coach with the Muskingum Muskies down there. So a doubleheader Sunday, Mount Union, Muskingum. Those games would be at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that might enable me to go down and catch some Raider baseball. Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to talking some Kentucky Derby horse racing with Ed DeRosa from the Horse Racing Report. He'll join us at 4:40 today. And we will check in with Bo Rugg at 4:10 from the OHSAA. Could be, I'm not saying there is going to be, but there could be some changes with the high school football playoffs, maybe. And we'll bring in our good buddy Steve Dorchuk, longtime beat reporter for the Cleveland Browns, does a great job. And we'll talk to Steve about the Browns, a little bit about the draft, Shedeur Sanders, and what looks like the exit of the guy we just love to death, and that's the running back for the Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb. Okay, without any further ado, let's try to put on your purple ball cap. Let's talk a little Purple Raider baseball here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Hall of Fame skipper Paul Hesse joining us here on this Friday afternoon. Coach, good afternoon. How are you?
How you doing, Sam?
I'm good. Thanks for thanks.
Got out a little late. We're dodging raindrops over here.
I'm telling you, the weather. Coach, we started the show at 3 o'clock today. We've been interrupted 3 times by emergency weather warnings. Hopefully it doesn't happen again while we've got you on the show. But I will say, first of all, congratulations on an incredible season so far. You've got 26 wins in the bag. You've got a couple more coming up against Muskingum over the weekend. How well is your team playing despite the interruptions in the schedule with weather and the like? How well are you guys doing right now?
I feel that we're at a good place. We played about 5 games in a period of 3 or 4 days over the weekend. We had a rain out with Washington and Jefferson, so we've had some time off to kind of get our legs underneath us and getting ready for a big weekend with Muskingum. And we need to win one of those 2 to guarantee the number 1 seed and to host the tournament here at Mount Union.
Yep, and we know how important that is. So let's go to the pitching staff first. Some guys that I've been able to watch pitch while announcing some of your games the last couple of years. Tell us about the staff and maybe some of the guys that you had to call on maybe to come in and close the deal for you in the 8th and 9th innings.
Well, our two leaders, Brady Hansen and Zach Braden, have been our 1 and 2 throughout the year. We've been doing a very good job with being consistent and keeping us in games, and have been really the main catalyst. But insofar as the number 3, Jared Lehman, is just coming back from an injury, and he is probably about 3 or 4 weeks into recovery, and we're really excited about him getting into the loop here as it relates to our playoffs and going forward. So we're really excited about that. Warner is another one that is he's from Louisville, and he has come on and done a great job for us in the midweek games. So he's picked up the baton, so to speak, and being consistent with that and keeping us in games and giving us opportunities to win. So, we've had holistically a lot of pitchers on the staff. I'd say the top 10, 11 have contributed at one point or another to give us an opportunity to win ball games.
Hall of Fame skipper for the Mount Union Purple Raiders, Paul Hesse, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN on this Friday. Doubleheader with Muskingum. Now, Coach, I see that doubleheader is going to be on Sunday, correct?
That is correct. We moved to Sunday, and we got a 50% chance of rain, and it'll be down at their place. It's their senior day and everything. So they're a very good ball club, and we're looking forward to meeting with them. It's another challenge, one game at a time.
Absolutely. Coach, I want to take you back here a little bit. I remember I was lucky enough to chat with you for a little bit in your office before I was getting ready to broadcast a Mount Union basketball game, and we were talking about some of the guys on the team and maybe a guy or two that was going to come in for you. And you said, I want to kind of paraphrase, if things work out the way I think they will, we're going to have a pretty good season. You must have been reading the tea leaves, because you guys have really played some great ball. And who's kind of stepped up for you more than you even thought that they would this year?
Well, I think offensively, going back to when we started in Florida, I think we were 5-6 coming out of Florida. We played some real cold games up north prior to going to Florida. And at that point in time, I was just curious if we were going to hit the ball. And my questions have been answered. We've done a great job. I think we're hitting like 326 as a team at this point in time. And coming out of Florida, I think we were like 280 or 270 something. So we've really put it together there and gotten a lot of confidence. And so I'm really pleased with that. Defensively, the guys have done a great job. We have a very good defensive club, the infield in particular. We were a little younger in the outfield, but there's some guys that really have stepped up defensively, and everybody's contributed on the offensive side.
Coach, some of the familiar names people may be familiar with that I think of, a great part of your program, guys like Alex Stegman. You talked about Jaron Lehman coming back, Luke Ickes, Andrew Whitty, Chris Viamonte is just an absolute sweeper down there at third base. You got some other great players as well. This group looks like they really enjoy playing for each other, being around each other. Tell everybody how important that is. No matter what the level of sports, you got to play well. You got to play together. You got to like each other, don't you?
Well, there's that part of it. They're like a band of brothers, so to speak. They really enjoy being around each other. We have a lot of fun. They know when to have fun and when to turn it on as it relates to when it comes time to, execute and everything. But that's been a key. They bought into what we wanted to do back in fall when we had 6 a.m. lifts and did what we needed to do to get stronger and faster. And everybody's bought into this leadership team. And that's the key. We have a great group of leaders. I do not choose captains here. My philosophy is everybody's a captain as a senior, and they all have a responsibility to lead, and especially the younger guys coming into the program.
Did you see this coming together on your spring trips? Was that a good way to get this whole thing started?
Well, it was, because we played a very tough spring schedule. We went over to Indiana. We beat Case Western Reserve, and they're one of the top teams in the country, consistently have been. We played Johns Hopkins, who's number 1 or 2 in the country. Salve Regina, who's number 8 or 10 in the country. We're in the rankings at this point in time. So I think if you play good teams, it basically tells you where you're at. And as a result, it challenges you to get better.
Coach, I want to talk about a young man, and I think we talked about him in your office prior to the season, and I don't want to butcher his name. I'm just going to fly with it here. Chris Suarez, and I know that's wrong, and I apologize. He is hitting 360. His OPS is over 1,000. He's scored 34 runs. I believe he's got the 9 home runs. He's approaching 50 RBI. Tell us about this young man.
Well, Chris Suarez came into our program. He was at Wisconsin Platteville. He did not hardly play there. He led their team in strikeouts. He came into our program this spring, and I think he struck out his first 10 times. And basically, we were working with him, and I didn't give up on him, but getting him to use the whole field as it relates to his approach against pitchers and stuff. And he's really adjusted well. He's a solid young man. He gets in the weight rooms, very strong. He's hit, I'll be honest with you, he hit the longest home run that I ever saw. We were up at Worcester, and Worcester, their field's up on top there, and then there's a golf course across the street, over across the buildings and stuff, and he hit it onto the tee on the golf course. So, and I think it was estimated to be 456 feet, something like that.
That was further than John Kenzie Noel last night, Coach.
Yeah, I know. He's a big, strong kid, very, very humble, fed into the team really well, and he's taken over right field for us, and he's not going to let anybody take it away from him.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, we'll let you go. I know you've been dodging the rainbops. Best of luck. Safe travels down to Muskingum on Sunday. Bring home that sweep, and let's get some home cooking here for the OAC tournament. What do you say?
I appreciate that, Sam. Thanks a lot for having me on.
You bet. There he goes, the Hall of Famer, the skipper of the Mount Union Purple Raider baseball team. And, of course, that is Mr. Paul Hesse. Purple Raiders, let's go get a sweep against the Muskies on Sunday and get that #1 seed and be host for the upcoming OAC postseason college baseball tournament over at Rayfield Rogers Field. Looking forward to that. All right, we got about 10 minutes until the top. We'll step out here for a few minutes. We'll come back where we gather, review, and move forward here on a Feel Good Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. By the way, forgot to give you the numbers today. Always should do that, right? 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310 if you want to give us a ring. And 330-536-1146 is the text line. Back with more on 1310. Stay with us.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
My doctor said I could use something called a biosimilar. Then she told me what it is.
A biosimilar is a type of biologic medication. Just like brand name drugs have generic versions, original biologics can have biosimilars.
So I asked what the benefits are and if they work the same.
Biosimilars have the same safety, effectiveness, and quality as the original biologic. They also offer more medication options at potentially more competitive prices.
My doctor said I could learn more at fda.gov/biosimilars.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Back on the Sam Bourquin Show, we've got about 5-6 minutes till we get you to the top of the hour. I want to thank our guests so far today, Paul Hesse, the Mount Union baseball skipper, and Al Pulowski from Cleveland Guardians TV. Coming up at 4:10 today, we're going to talk to Bo Rugg. He is the OHSAA football administrator. And I was kind of poking around on X yesterday or this morning and saw some articles and said, might want to see if we can get Bo on today. There's been a little chatter, possibly that the OHSAA will make some changes to the upcoming playoff format. Now, I'm not saying that they are. I'm saying it's a possibility. And there's been talks, I know, with the folks at the OHSAA and with the high school football coaches, and I'm sure administrators and ADs and the like. And we're gonna get the scoop. We'll talk to Bo Rugg coming up here at 4:10. 4:40. We're gonna get you ready for the Kentucky Derby down at Churchill Downs. That's a 7:00 post tomorrow night. The Run for the Roses. We're going to talk with Ed DeRosa. Known Ed for quite a long time. He is with Horse Racing Report, and we'll handicap the Derby for you coming up at 4:40 today. Now, the weather here is supposed to be tomorrow, like it's been here the last couple days. The weather's supposed to be bad down in Louisville, Kentucky, too. So if you're thinking about, making a wager or 2 or 10, make sure that your horse can run in the mud because it looks like it's going to be a muddy track down at Churchill Downs. And then at the 5:10 today, we're going to talk with the really, 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 really great guy. I've gotten to know Steve Dorshuk, pretty well. I've gotten to know Steve over the last several decades. Steve was writing for the Repository when I was playing high school sports, and of course did a great job then. He still does, and he was the beat reporter for the Cleveland Browns for many, many years. He's kind of stepped back from that a little bit, but Steve still kind of keeps his eye on the Brownies and what's going on in Berea. And thought it'd be neat to have him on today to talk a little bit about the draft. And there's so many stories out there about Shedeur Sanders. You don't know what to believe. I mean, I guess some of the stories are believable, some are a little crazy, and maybe some are kind of somewhere in between. They always say there's the story from person 1, the story from person 2, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. Okay? Lots of stuff out there about Shedeur. We'll talk to Steve Dorshuk coming up at about 5:10. Also, I'm going to ask Steve about the proposed new stadium in Brook Park, see if he's got some insight on that. And boy, it certainly looks like it's all over for Nick Chubb in a Cleveland Browns uniform. I did see earlier today, I want to pull this up so I don't give you the wrong information here. The Browns and Jerome Ford have agreed to a pay cut situation. Ford's salary is going to go from $3.48 million to $1.75 million. So you couple that with bringing in Quinshon Judkins, you couple that with bringing in the young man from Tennessee. It's almost like the handwriting is on the wall. And look, I know it's a business. We all know it's the business. Growing up, you think, hey, it's fun and games. It's the NFL. You're not when you're growing up and you're becoming a fan of a team, you're not in your room burning the midnight oil till midnight worrying about a salary cap. Okay. And cap relief and rules and regulations. You're worried about your team. You're becoming fans of certain players. And I don't know anybody that's not a fan of Nick Chubb. I really don't. And if you're not a fan of Nick Chubb, you're nuts. And it looks like, his playing days could be over with the Browns. I've heard some whispers of maybe him signing on with a team like the Chicago Bears or something like that. But we'll talk to Steve Dorshuk about all that coming up here at 5:10 today. The weather's still kicking up outside. Again, lots of watches and warnings and the like going on. We'll keep you up to date here on 1310 WDPN. And of course, streaming live at AM1310WBPN.com. My man Ryan Rainsberg has been working extra hard today. EMS warnings and getting our guests on and making sure the banner's looking nice and tidy behind us here. If you're watching on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel, we certainly appreciate that. And we also encourage you to interact with the program. Call us, text us. You can email us. You can drop comments on all the social media platforms, whether it's X, Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube channel as you watch live. We certainly appreciate you watching and listening and interacting with us today. And today wraps up our first week here on the Afternoon Drive. And it's gone fast. I mean, it really has. We started here Monday, our first show, and hopefully you like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing. You spread the word and all those good things, and we'll keep this train rolling here on 1310 WDPN. Okay, we're going to step out. Local news with Jeff Mears coming up. You got the national news. We'll check in on the weather for you. And when we get back, more great afternoon talk. Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In a social media post today, President Trump says he plans to take away Harvard's tax-exempt status.
Harvard University might have a $50 billion endowment, but rescinding the school's tax-exempt status could have sweeping consequences for the country's oldest university. One analysis found that Harvard's tax-exempt status saved the school more than $450 million in 2023, with some of the savings used on scholarships and research. A Harvard spokesperson on Friday said Trump's move is unlawful and would have grave consequences for the future of higher education. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
A major earthquake occurring today centered off the coast of Argentina and Chile. It triggered evacuations along the coast for a short time. No major damage reported. And word today, former Illinois Governor George Ryan has died. The Republican who was governor from 1999 to 2003 placed a moratorium on the death penalty then in Illinois. He was later convicted on federal corruption charges and served 5 years in prison. George Ryan was 91. This is ABC News.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's all to 321-321.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southwestern Stark County until 4:15 p.m. At 3:28, a severe thunderstorm was located over Holmesville, moving east at 30-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Also, a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect for Stark, Carroll, Columbiana, Mahoning, Portage, Summit, and Tuscarawas counties until 7 p.m. Mark Johnson has the complete forecast coming up. Bond is set at $75,000 for a Canton woman accused of allowing her husband to physically abuse her 4-year-old daughter. 26-year-old Brittany Morris was arraigned today in Canton Municipal Court. She was arrested Thursday on warrants charging her with endangering children and permitting child abuse. Canton police say Morris's daughter was taken to Mercy Hospital, then to Akron Children's with multiple bruises Thursday morning. She also reportedly was severely underweight. Court records state Morris has a history of ignoring child abuse in her home. Her husband is on probation for child endangering and was the main suspect in the abuse of Morris's 1-year-old son in 2023. Charges will be filed against him. 3 teens charged in a fatal drive-by shooting in Canton have pleaded not guilty. 19-year-olds Trayshawn Jones and Jerry Dotson and 18-year-old Paul Johnson were arraigned today in Stark County Common Pleas Court. They were indicted last month on charges including aggravated murder, felonious assault, and a weapons count. Shots were fired at a home on Auto Place Northeast in April 2023. Police found Bryson Barksdale dead inside the house. Jones, Dotson, and Johnson were arrested in January. They were minors at the time of the shooting. Police believe the shooting was related to gang activity, but say Barksdale was not the intended target. The trio is scheduled to return to court for a pretrial hearing May 15th. A man is being sought for a welfare check by the Stark County Sheriff's Office. 33-year-old Connor Seaman was last seen Thursday in the 6100 block of Columbus Road Northeast in Nimishillen Township. He is white, 6 feet tall, and weighs about 160 pounds. With brown hair and blue eyes, Seaman was wearing a gray shirt, green shorts, and brown loafers at the time. The Sheriff's Office says he may be armed and has expressed thoughts of self-harm. Seaman may be driving a silver 2006 Saturn Ion that has a Quonset hut sticker on the lower portion of the rear window. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call the Stark County Sheriff's Office at 330-430-3800. Details are emerging about the settlement of a lawsuit filed by a former football player against the Massillon School District. The settlement was approved by the school board in November, but terms weren't disclosed. The repository reports the agreement was provided to the newspaper in response to a public records request. The district's insurance company paid $125,000 to settle the suit. It was filed in Common Pleas Court in June 2024. A teen said he was the victim of a hazing incident in the summer of 2023. No criminal charges were filed after an investigation. The then 17-year-old said he was rushed by some of his teammates and stripped naked from the waist down at a school practice facility. The incident was captured on video and shared with other students. A man accused of assaulting a Dairy Queen employee in East Liverpool is free after posting bond. 52-year-old James Wicker of Wellsville was arraigned Thursday in Columbiana County Municipal Court. He's charged with assault in the Wednesday afternoon incident. East Liverpool police say Wicker was upset because his order was incorrect and began yelling about it before going behind the counter and hitting a female employee in the face. An employee broke up the fight and struck Wicker in the back of the head. Wicker is scheduled to return to court May 12th for a pretrial hearing. A pre-sentence investigation will be conducted for a Kent man found guilty of causing a crash that killed his passenger. 51-year-old Albert D. Tomaso was convicted Thursday by a jury in Portage County Common Pleas Court of charges including aggravated vehicular homicide, aggravated vehicular assault, and OVI. Jurors rendered their decision after less than a half hour of deliberation. The charges stemmed from a January 2024 collision in Kent. D. Tomaso was driving a car that slammed into the back of a Spectrum truck parked along Lake Street. He and a Spectrum employee were taken to Akron hospitals with serious injuries. D. Tomaso's passenger, 55-year-old William Williams of Kent, was pronounced dead at the scene. A Mahoning County judge has sentenced a Youngstown man who led city police on a chase last year. Common Pleas Judge John Durkin issued a one-year prison term Thursday to 35-year-old Nathaniel Cheatham. He pleaded guilty to a count of failure to comply. Officers spotted Cheatham speeding in an SUV on Oak Hill Avenue December 3rd. They attempted a traffic stop, and the resulting pursuit continued to Glenwood Avenue. Cheatham weaved in and out of traffic, and police called off the chase. He was later arrested on Lakewood Avenue after 2 more chases were terminated. The execution has been vacated for an inmate on death row for a Trumbull County murder. According to federal court records, the sentence for Nathaniel Jackson was vacated with the court granting his petition for writ of habeas corpus. He was sentenced to death for the 2001 shooting of Robert Fingerhut in Howland Township. Jackson and Fingerhut's ex-wife were convicted in the crime. She also was sentenced to death. The court concluded Jackson's sentencing was unconstitutional because of the trial court judge's bias and misconduct and cited exclusion of relevant evidence. A new sentencing proceeding will be held for Jackson. It's 70 degrees in Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. Mark Johnson's forecast is up next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
Since 1996, Kale's Auto Repair Service, Cars with a K, has been the trusted auto repair shop in Alliance. With over 80 years of experience in Stark and Mahoning County, their team provides high-quality auto care and customer service. They offer a range of services from preventative maintenance to engine repair, AC service, and more. The shop features 10 bays, state-of-the-art diagnostic tools, and mechanics ready to get your car on the road again. They accept all makes and models, ensuring top-notch service for every vehicle. Open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m. and Friday from 8 to 11 a.m. Schedule your appointment today by calling 330-821-3100.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Scattered rain and maybe a stronger thunderstorm through your afternoon hours today. Cloudy for the most part, 73 degrees for the high. Overnight, keep that umbrella handy. More scattered rain and thunder. Our low, 55. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5. This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we are back here at the top of the hour, about 7-8 minutes past 4 o'clock. Let's kind of reset here a little bit. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-546-1136. Also, we want to thank Al Pulaski from Guardians TV for joining us in the 3 o'clock hour, and the skipper of the Mount Union baseball team, Paul Hesse, for joining us as well. We're going to talk Kentucky Derby about 4:40 today with the horse racing reports Ed DeRosa, and we'll bring in our good buddy Steve Dorchuk. We'll talk a little Browns, Shador, and Nick Chubb coming up at 5:10. Hope you all are having a great kickoff to your weekend. I know the weather is a little choppy right now, so if you're out and about, please be careful. And as soon as we get some warnings or alerts, we'll pass them along to you right here on 1310. All right, without any further ado, hey, this is a big week for us here. This will be the second time we've gone down to our capital of Columbus and talked to some great folks from the OHSAA. Tim Street was on a couple of days ago. And today we've got the OHSAA football administrator. You know him, you love him. Bo Rugg joining us here on the program. Bo, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Sam.
Thank you so much for joining us on short notice. I kind of let's kind of reset things here a little bit, and I want to go back to I hope I'm right here. April the 21st, the OHSAA sent some football surveys out to schools, principals, ADs, football coaches, what have you, and just try to get some feedback about the high school football season, the regular season, the 10 weeks, the tournament, what have you. The survey, I believe, was over April the 28th. What were some of the information you were looking for, the input? What is some of the stuff you've gotten back? And we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, we need to do a deep dive into all the data. We had gotten some information from some coaches that the season is long, and they really wanted to go back to less teams making playoffs, and so we put a survey out and asked about 16, 12, and 8, and we broke it down in the last, if you were in the tournament the last 4 years, indicate what seed you were, because we want to see what the people that are qualifying at different levels are saying to us. Mm-hmm. So we've got to do some deep dive in there and talk about it as a staff, and then talk about it with our board before we make any major decisions or changes.
So I know if we'll take people all the way back in the day when it was 2 teams per region. You went to 4, you went to 8, and then to 16 because of the wildness with the COVID situation. I personally think 12 would be awesome. I think it's a good number and a right fit. Just your thoughts, Bo, on how many you think would be a good number, and maybe shorten the season just a tad, make it just a little bit more meaningful for the postseason experience. Where do you sit there as of early May?
Yeah, right before COVID, the Coaches Association gave us a proposal for 12, and we tweaked that a little bit, the proposal, but the board approved 12. And then COVID hit, and as you said, we took everybody, and then we went to 16 and on through. 12, I think, is what coaches, by and large, across the state, the majority want. You are correct. I mean, I think that first week of playoffs will be very competitive, and probably pretty competitive through the playoffs. I think that's a good thing. We have to ascertain, what it's like. We're the ones that get the emails from those 13 to 16 seeds that have never made it before finally make it. They think it's the greatest thing ever that they got in. It's not about winning and losing for them, it's about getting in. So can we do anything for them also? You know, we're going to try to hit as many goals as we can if we're going to make changes.
I'm glad you brought that last point up. This might be a little bit of a tough question, but I almost feel compelled to ask you. I think a lot of us in the sports world, whether we play or coach or administrate or whatever, we're competitive. Does it kind of bother you a little bit that coaches, hey, it's not about winning or losing, it's just getting in? Is that an issue at all?
Well, I think it can be a great thing because it can be a springboard to being better the next year. And I think that's how good coaches think about it. You know, especially if you're building the program, I got to build on something, and I've got to give them some experiences to build on. Yeah, you know, we play a high level of football in the state of Ohio, and the bottom line is, you know, in all of our sports where we take everyone, you know, high seeds versus a low seed is probably going to be a non-competitive game. But at the same time, everybody loves an underdog. And so when you see Adelphia St. John's last year at a 15-win 3 games and only get beat 14-0 in a regional final, and you see Dublin Kaufman doing some great things, that's fun. Everybody likes that. But, you know, you got 28 regions, and if 24 of those games are just not fun, 24 of those 1 through 16s, not to mention 2 through 15s. You know, people get a little bored that week at times, and I understand that. So that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at what's best and what our stakeholders want the most.
Bo Rugg is our guest. He is the OHSAA football administrator, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN on this Feel Good Friday edition of the program. Bo, 706 schools plan to participate in the 11-man football this coming season. Obviously a very healthy number for the state of Ohio. Just off the top of my head, how many schools are there that you know of or might think that are actually going away from the 11-man football and they're going to 8? Is that are those numbers going up at all or no?
They really aren't. And the issue is that we're so traditionally a 11-player state that the schools that do go to 8, they go to 8 because they don't have many numbers, but their goal was always to get back to 11. And just had another school that's coming in, I just lost it, Toledo. It's a Catholic school, I think, in Toledo.
Okay.
A Christian school. They're coming back this year. They won't be added. That if you didn't play last year, you don't get added until September 10th when everybody sees it. So what happened last year, we were at 706 and probably topped out at 710 by the end. That's what we'll do again this year. We'll have 3 or 4 of those that haven't. So, and that's our issue. You know, 8 doesn't get a lot of momentum because people don't really want to go to 8 unless they have to, and they want to get back to 11.
Bo, since you guys have gone to the 7 divisions in the OHSAA football, how has that worked top to bottom? I think that was a pretty good move. I think it's worked as well this last year in basketball, and we're seeing it in some of the other sports as well. But as far as football is concerned, is 7 a good number, and you think you'll stay there for a while? Or down the road, could there be some changes there?
You know, I don't know. You know, some people have brought up in this last month with the surveys going out, well, if you want to get some more teams involved and this and that, maybe we ought to go to more divisions. I'm not sure that's the right idea. I think the 7 is really good. I think, you know, when we get down to what we've divided it up, we have some good championships, some really good semifinals. So I think we're at a pretty good number right now.
And I also was reading an article that was, I think Mike Dyer from Cincinnati area wrote a great article out that you had with him, that it looks like Friday night games, playoffs, that's going to be it. There doesn't look like you'll be going to playing Saturday night games in the postseason. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, our coaches really like the Friday. They're creatures of habit. I like the Friday up until the fact that I don't get to see as many games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you guys. I go to 3 sites a night. So I'm doing one night. I only get 3.
Man.
Everything else logistically is better for Fridays. And I believe we own Fridays more than the distractions on Saturdays. So I think I agree with the coaches. I'm really happy with the Friday.
As long as you've been around and doing what you've been doing, and you've been, watching football, watching sports, and being with the OHSAA, how have things changed in your eyes as far as just sports, the student athletes' participation, you guys reaching your goals, where you want to go with implementing changes throughout the landscape of the of high school sports? You sit back and ever get a chance to take a look and say, hey, I really like where we're at?
Yeah, I do actually, and I'm the age-old codger in the office as far as age, and while I've only been in the OHSA office for 14 years, I was an official for 30, managed state high school track and field, so I've been around for a long time, and I guarantee you the biggest change and that I think is carried together with our board and our staff to our stakeholders. In my 14 years here, the last 2 or 3 years, that's far and away better than it was before. So I'm really excited about that. We talked about expansion in divisions in other sports for 10 years.
Wow.
And until we sat down and said, and our executive director, give him credit, he said, we either got to do something or say we're not going to do it and give the reasons why. Don't just talk about it forever. And, schools brought this to us, and our board worked on this. We worked on this, and it was some good positive things coming out of it. So that's, I think, the biggest changes for the positive.
Very good. Bo Rugg is our guest. He is the football administrator for the OHSA. Kind enough to join us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. You mentioned officials, Bo, and I know it's an ongoing problem all over the country, especially here in Ohio, is getting officials, keeping officials, getting people to want to be an official. Where do we stand as far as the need to get officials for all sports, and maybe throw a bone out there, a number somewhere where they can get involved to get some questions answered, and maybe they'll take the jump and they'll want to become an official for whatever sport it is?
Well, we're a little better in Ohio than some other places, but we're big in Ohio, and we're always going to have pockets where it's going to be difficult. One of the things we did when we went to online classes is we wanted people to be able to access it at any time, 24/7, 365. So they go to our website and click on officiating, become an official, that you can get involved immediately. And, you're watching the Super Bowl, you're watching NBA playoffs, and even though the season's over, you're like, I got the bug. Can I get involved now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In the past, it had to be seasonal. So, we're a little better off than we were a couple of years ago. We're really better off numbers-wise, but we have a lot of young people from our high schools involved, and that's good for numbers, good for exposure, but it doesn't give you immediate help a lot in those games. And so we have to think about that. Numbers better. Retention, as you mentioned, is a big thing, and it's one of the downfalls if you go to 12 is I lose 112 playoff game assignments times 6 officials. That hurts us retention wise. If people are working a decent amount and they're not getting a game, that's not a good thing. It's something that people don't think about when you reduce anywhere. But that's the biggest thing is our districts are doing a better job, and we're in our district games, and we're doing a better job in the sports that we administer totally from our office in making sure we get a wide breadth of officials some exposure in the tournaments, so it keeps them wanting to improve and wanting to get better.
Bo Rugg is our guest from the OHSAA. So we're kind of starting to wind down the spring sports here a couple more weeks, and then the tournaments will begin, and we'll crown some state champions in track and field and lacrosse, softball, baseball coming up here in June. So I'm guessing you guys, if you make a move or make some kind of a change as far as the football is concerned, we wouldn't hear anything about that until after June. And do you think you'll get enough juice going you can implement that before the upcoming football season?
Yeah, the good news is, Sam, is there's no logistical things we have to do if we implement this to say, oh, man, we got to do this, got to get this done. We don't have enough time. I mean, the regulations don't change. You know, Harbin doesn't change. Nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of who we take. So we can really dive deep into conversation and not make a change for a while and implement it very easily in the fall.
Very good. Well, Bo, I appreciate you coming on short notice. The kickoff of the weekend has already begun, and I always appreciate your time and talking to you. Good luck and all the best, and I'm sure we'll call you upon it here down the road. Have a great weekend, Bo.
Thanks, Sam. Happy to do it anytime.
You
have
got
a great weekend.
There he goes. Bo Rugg, the football administrator down there in Columbus with the Ohio High School Athletic Association. I think we're going to see some changes. I do. I think you're going to see it go to 12. I'm not guaranteeing it, but just listening to Bo, I think Bo might want to. I think he's kind of behind that maybe a little bit. I could just listening the tone of the voice. I think maybe you're going to see that. I also there was a lot of speculation, well, not speculation, but there was some chatter maybe that once the postseason began that they would go back to playing games on both Friday nights and Saturday nights. Doesn't sound like that's going to happen. And it also sounds like they're probably going to stay at 7 divisions for the football. And now that you've got the 7 divisions and all the other sports, obviously it kind of almost makes perfect sense as far as the uniformity is concerned to keep that at 7 divisions. So I appreciate Bo coming on. I know we'll be checking in on him later on here in the summer and before the football season. Bo's a great guy. There are a lot of great folks down at the OHSA. I know they take some heat. I've given them some heat over the years, but they do have some great people over there, and I think we're all going to be in pretty good shape before the football season begins. Which, by the way, 111 days, the first high school football game. Not that I'm counting. Well, maybe I am, but I was doing a little calendar math today. And I said, I had a feeling we were getting close to 100. So it's 111 days until we start the high school football season. And boy, will we have you covered. AM 13 WDPN, also Q92 Radio, Q92radiosports.com. We'll have all the high school coverage for you. Can't wait to be a part of that this year. Don't forget the Mount Union Purple Raiders will be back on 1310 again this fall. I'll be doing ball games. That'll be my 10th year. 10th year calling Purple Raider football. I didn't have that on my bingo card when I was growing up. What a thrill that's been. Got to call a couple of national championships. You know, the great thing about covering Mount football, I can usually go, my wife has it's a triple calendar. It's on the inside door of our pantry in the kitchen. And I can usually pencil in there the first week of September, and I just keep going Saturday, flip the calendar, Saturday, and I can just keep putting in the purple check mark all the way through the middle of December. And I don't even have to worry about it because I know that they're going to be there. Very seldomly has Mount not gotten out of the first or second round of the playoffs in football. So I just put that check mark in there. And then I'll go and I'll circle the date where the Stag Bowl could be. And that's it. And then I close up the pantry door and I walk away. That's a great feeling to know you're going to have that much Mount Union football. And, of course, the basketball program with Coach Feuline. What a job. That has been for him, the university. You talk about kicking a program into the next decades. That's what Coach Mike has done with the Raiders. Took them to the national championship, Final Four of the national championship a couple years ago. If it wasn't for COVID, I think we'd already have a national championship in hoops with guys like we have Devontae Friga in the great group we had there. I really think we would have won the whole thing. And look what Coach Paul Hesse's doing with the baseball program. Look at the swimming program. Look at the track and field program, indoor, outdoor. Soccer's getting better. I mean, all the sports at Mount Union are they're plugging along. And man, I'm chomping at the bit for football. Now, a lot of you that do know me, I'm a big sun, swim, summer guy. I really am. And I'm not trying to wish it away. I'm not trying to go past it. But I'll be ready for some football. We'll all be ready here for football on 1310 WDPN. Again, thanks to Bo Rugg from the OHSAA for joining us here on the program. All right, we'll get you to the bottom of the hour. National news. We'll check up on the weather for you. Don't forget, we're going to talk some horse racing with Ed DeRosa from the Horse Racing Report. The Derby's coming up tomorrow. We got Browns talk a little bit later on. We'll take your phone calls. We'll read your comments. All that and more. Stay with us. 1310 WDPN. Streaming live, AM 1310, WDPN.com.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump on social media today claims Harvard University deserves to lose its century-old tax-exempt status. ABC's Peter Charalambos has details.
Harvard University might have a $50 billion endowment, but rescinding the school's tax-exempt status could have sweeping consequences for the country's oldest university. One analysis found that Harvard's tax-exempt status saved the school more than $450 million in 2023, with some of the savings used on scholarships and research. A Harvard spokesperson on Friday said Trump's move is unlawful and would have grave consequences for the future of higher education. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
The White House has released President Trump's 2026 budget proposal. It seeks to cut, if not zero out, spending on many government programs. Trump's plan aims for cuts to childcare, disease research, renewable energy, and peacekeeping abroad. Steps started in many cases under Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. That's all while pumping up billions for the administration's mass deportations agenda. Overall, it's a sizable reduction in domestic accounts. It comes as Congress is already deep into drafting the president's big bill of tax breaks and spending cuts. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says he plans to meet with President Trump in Washington on Tuesday. Here's ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
Tariffs and trade are going to be a big topic, and of course, improving the U.S.-Canada relationship. That will be a big focus for Mark Carney. The president says that he anticipates that they can improve the relationship.
A 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck off the southern coasts of Chile and Argentina, that according to the United States Geological Survey. Chilean authorities issued an evacuation alert today for the entire coastal region of the Strait of Magellan and the far south of the nation. In a message sent to the public, Chile's National Service for Disaster Prevention and Response said, due to a tsunami alert, evacuation to a safe zone is being ordered for the coastal sectors of the Magellan region. No significant damage was reported. Police in Idaho say 7 people are dead after a pickup truck and a tour van collided Thursday night. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
It was on a rural highway about 16 miles outside of Yellowstone National Park, where a Dodge Ram pickup and a Mercedes passenger van operating as a tour vehicle hit. Both of them caught fire. The driver of the pickup died, as did 6 people in the van. The van had a tour group of 14 people in it. Idaho State Police say they're investigating the crash. It's unclear the conditions of the other victims who survived. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's 69 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
Scattered rain and thunderstorms on and off during your afternoon hours today. Otherwise cloudy for the most part. A warm high of 73 degrees. Overnight, more scattered showers and storms. Grab that umbrella. Our low in the middle 50s. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suit? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Hey, the phone lines are open for you if you want to get in today, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text the show. The text line is open, 330-536-1146. That's the text line, 330-536-1146. Well, I'm guessing. I shouldn't guess, but I'm going to. I think the weather is starting to settle down a little bit outside. Didn't get a chance to sneak out of the studios here during that last break, but top of the hour, we'll go out there and we'll see what's going on. I know one thing. My mowing plans have been foiled a couple of times this week. I wanted to do it yesterday. I wanted to do it this morning before I came into the station. I wanted to do it. If I didn't get it done this morning, when I get out of here tonight, I usually get out of here around 7-ish. And by the time I get home, I don't even know if I could finish. What time does it get dark now? Is it like 8 something?
I think it's still close to 9. We're in summertime. So
is it close to 9?
Ah, God, man.
I want to say like 8.
Yeah,
8:30, 8:20 something.
Latest, yeah.
So you know what? Strike that idea. There's no way in the world. If I leave here at 7:15, takes me about 25 minutes to get home. Say hello to the crew. Get my mowing clothes. No, there's no way. So I'm going to try to mow tomorrow. Oh, wait. It's supposed to rain all day and night. So that's out. I'm going to try to mow Sunday. I really would like to drive down to Muskingum, though, and watch Mount Union baseball.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you got a lot of sports to watch on Sunday. I don't know if you're going to have any time.
I really would like to go down to Muskingum, at least watch one game of the doubleheader. Games are at 1 and 4, and they need them both. They need one at least, but it'd be good to get both. Oh, gosh. Do I go to Muskingum or do I mow the grass? And then it'll look like, Jungle City.
I mean,
because our grass grows. I'm sure I'm not the only one with this problem. It grows like wild when it rains. It just grows like crazy. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks good, but man, when it's wet and thick, it's hard to plow through. I have to figure that out. I'm going to need some advice. I'm a Libra in the zodiac table. October 15th. We don't like conflict, and we can't make decisions. So I may need a little push what to do. Plus, the Cavs are going to be playing on Sunday. And if they play at 6, then that's going to throw a wrench into things too. But we'll figure it out. Now, I know we got the Kentucky Derby coming up on Saturday. Oh, I'll be glued to that. I think we're going to be heading up north. Huh? Get a little action in on the Derby. Hey, how about my horse got scratched today? Grande. That was my horse. That's the one that I keyed in on at 20-1 when the latest morning line came out a couple of weeks ago. It's been staying steady, 20-1. Didn't move. And I'm like, okay, I like this horse. This is who I'm going with. So I'm all excited, figuring out, a couple of wagers, maybe, a win, place show, maybe an exacta, whatever. We'll talk to Ed DeRose about all those good things. But I got on the Kentucky Derby site today, and I'm looking, okay, Citizen Bowl, 20-1, Final Gambit, Luxor Cafe, Journalism, Grande, with a big line through it. And then it says SCR, which means scratched. So my horse is out. Now I've got to pick a new one. I'm looking at a couple. The favorite right now, the second favorite is Sandman. 6-1. My son, Dylan, likes Chunk of Gold at 30-1. And my wife likes, I think, Citizen Bowl. I think. But everything's changed now because my horse got scratched. Now I've got to pick a new horse. The trials and the tribulations. Doug checking in from Perry. He says, Sammy, I went out and mowed around 2:50. I got the backyard done, a couple of sprinkles, then started the front with a steadier rain. He decided to finish the front yard in the rain. Go, Doug. We're proud of you. You powered through. We're still trying to get a hold of Ed DeRosa from the Horse Racing Report. He's due to be on with us to talk a little Kentucky Derby. So hopefully we can make connections with Ed. Steve Dorchuk, long time, great writer at the Repository. He'll be coming up around 5:10 today. We'll be talking Browns, Shedeur Sanders, the new stadium, possibly going to Brook Park, and looks like the end of the line for Nick Chubb with the Cleveland Browns. So we got all that coming up for you as well. Let me see if I can reach out to Mr. DeRosa while we are doing our all set and ready for you. Let's I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break right here. We'll try to connect with Ed. If not, we'll come back. We'll turn the page on the Derby for a minute, and we'll get you into something else. But we'll step out. Phone lines are open too if you want to get in. 330-821-1310. You can always text the program 330-536-1146. It is a feel-good Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show, and it's right here on 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill, and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back. Sam Bourquin with you on a Feel Good Friday. Want to thank our guest from earlier today, Al Pulaski from Cleveland Guardians TV, the skipper of the Mount Union baseball team, Paul Hesse, and thanks to OHSAA football administrator Bo Rugg for joining us here on the program. All right, we have got our guy getting you ready for another scintillating, dramatic run for the roses. Churchill Downs, right around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Let's talk a little Derby and bring on Ed DeRosa from the Horse Racing Report here on 1310 WDPN. Ed, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. I'm here at Churchill Downs. Just got through a short weather delay, but got some rain and wind, and they pushed races back for a little bit to be ready to run again here in a few minutes.
Good stuff. Yeah, we're experiencing some bad weather up here, too. It's been going on the last 46 hours. 48 hours is probably going to continue tomorrow. I see the forecast is calling for a lot of rain at Churchill Downs tomorrow. What do you think it's going to be like around post time tomorrow?
There's looks like it's still a chance, so I'm optimistic that when it does rain, it'll either be earlier in the day or later after the Derby. Certainly hold my breath to see what happens. This part actually passes pretty quickly, so hopefully blows some rain out. I can't imagine we're completely out of the woods, but I feel like I'm in Dumb and Dumber. But I'm saying that we're dry for Derby.
Ed DeRosa is our guest from the Racing Report. He is live on the scene at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, getting ready for the Derby tomorrow. Okay, Ed, it's just ironic that I was able to get you on to come on the program today. I've been looking at Grande for the last 7 to 10 days, zeroing in on that's going to be my horse at 20-1. I wake up this morning and I see a big line through it in the scratch to the right. What happened?
Yeah, a little bit of a foot issue, and I don't think the connection to the horse was forthcoming all week. I don't think it was a surprise this morning, admittedly, but they know they're out of time to give the horse his best chance to compete in the Derby. So they'll look to fight another day. You were on a good one. He would have been a factor if right, but not going to be his day tomorrow. So unfortunately, he won't be in, and neither will Rodriguez, another scratch. So as of right now, Rodriguez and Grande are out, and Baeza is in.
Okay, well, I appreciate that last-minute update there because I wanted to know who was going to go in since we had the two horses go out. So right now, at what journalism is the favorite at 3-1, and then you go down to Sandman 6-1. Talk to me about those two horses there and their chances to take it all.
Yeah, actually, for me, I'm on one and against the other, so I don't mind that I'm picking the favorite in journalism because I'm totally against the other horse taking money. Journalism coming in on a 3-race win streak. He's looked really good in California. I've talked about this before. I sort of like in the Kentucky Derby, so when we get the bowl season and March Madness, I'm always thinking about which league had the best team. Is it the SEC? Is it the Big Ten? And for me, the California this year is where you wanted to be to face the best horses, and journalism proves you the best of all. So I'm going to ride that way than to the Kentucky Derby. And then Sandman, he won his last race. He looked good doing it, but he chinks in the armor. He had a perfect setup, really fast pace. Yeah, there's going to be a fast pace in this year's Derby, but I'm not expecting him to have the same run on Saturday as we saw at Oakland. So I'm against Sandman. He's taking a lot of casual money. Metallica is in on the act to be named after Mariano Rivera, after Sandman song. So Metallica's outfitted the barn in a bunch of sweatshirts and stuff.
Oh, wow.
He's gray. People love to bet at gray. So to me, he's just taking too much money. As a gambling man, I'm willing to bet against him.
Burnham Square right now is 12-1. What is it? Baeza, I think that's how you pronounce it, at 12-1. You have a lean toward either one of those at 12-1?
I definitely prefer Baeza.
Okay.
He was second to journalism, so you're basically not dissimilar to taking Ohio State this year in the football playoff. Like you have a good team. Yeah, you didn't win the Big Ten, but Baeza's good enough to contend with the best around here, and you're getting a bigger price than you will on journalism. So definitely like Baeza. Burnham Square is fine. I like him more than Sandan. He has Brian Hernandez up, whose wife is a Buckeye, so we always like that connection. But he won the race last year aboard Mystic Dam. That's a great ride. And he said he's hoping for the same trip. So Burnham Square is definitely in the mix, but absolutely prefer Baeza to him.
Ed DeRosa is our guest, the Horse Racing Report. He is live on the grounds at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. Ed, what time do they go off tomorrow? Is it right at 7, a little before, or a little after? I know they've been moving the time back every year.
I think it's a touch before, so like 6:57.
Okay.
And depending on what's going on NBC, sometimes they have some minutes too. But yeah, basically, if you think right before 7, you'll be in good shape.
Very good. Boy, there's a lot of long shots here on this card. A lot of 30-1s. I know if you want to roll the dice and take a shot, who would you maybe recommend? Owen Almighty, somebody like Render Judgment. How about the 30-1 shots?
I really like Chunk of Gold, number 19.
Oh, my son likes that horse. Okay.
Yeah, I think he absolutely fits this group. I plan on betting him liberally with journalism, which, I guess in critics you can say liberal is the way you want to bet a horse with him. But I like Baeza in journalism. For me, Chunk of Gold is going to be a heavy key in this trifecta wager. 8, 19, 21 are my numbers on Saturday.
Wow. Do you think there will be some action coming in on Chunk of Gold, or you think that'll stay at a steady price?
I think we'll get that price.
Okay,
yeah.
Very good. For those that are listening out there, that they're ready to lay down some coin on Saturday, exacta, trifecta, superfecta. Well, what are you looking at there?
I would say trifecta. That's just 3. But because I'm on the favorite. I think journalism's a likely winner. I am gonna take a long look at the superfecta. It's $1 minimum. Definitely can get expensive in a hurry, but I think there is an opportunity with the super. So the way I would structure it is for superfecta, journalism would have to win, and then Chunk of Gold or Baeza would have to be in the top 4 as well. Whereas for a trifecta, really any 3 of those can win, and then a few of the others. Burnham Square would be a horse I think could sneak in there that I would use with the horses I like. But for the super, I would make it so journalism has to win.
Very good. Ed DeRosa is our guest. He is live at the Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, post time just a little bit before 7 o'clock. Ed, we appreciate your time. Stay dry down there. Hopefully good weather tomorrow, and enjoy another run for the Roses. I appreciate your time as always.
My pleasure, guys. Let's get some money.
Yeah, I hope so, too. There he goes, Ed DeRosa from the Racing Report, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Boy, noisy down there. Rainy. All the wise guys are lining up at the window to put their money down on their horse. My horse got scratched. Did you hear Ed talking about Grande? He says, you were on a good horse. Yeah, okay, well. Now we gotta switch things around. So Ed likes the superfecta, and again, if you're going to wager on Saturday, it sounds like journalism he likes on top, and then he would go with let's see here, Chunk of Gold, the number 19 horse. He's 30-1 right now. He also liked Baeza, which I kind of do too, at 12-1. And then maybe you want to put the number 9 Burnham Square in there. Maybe take a shot there with a trifecta or a superfecta. But again, the weather could become a factor. It's been raining there for like 3 days, kind of like here. When that track gets muddy and it's just more water on top of more water on top of more water, and then you've got I think they start the racing card, I don't know, I want to say around noon maybe. So you've got all those prelim races, and I know they can kind of take care of the track, so to speak, and make it a little faster. But if it's going to continue to pour all day and it's going to be a wet, sloppy track, you want to make sure the horse that you're in on can get through the mud. So, okay. Well, I'll tell my son, Dylan, he's all in on Chunk of Gold at 30-1. He saw that price and his eyes got big. That's it, Bourquin. Tell that 17-year-old to get up there to that window and bet on that horse. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. I'll go up there and I'll put that in. As my wife, she was, let's see, whose horse was she looking at? Oh, Citizen Bull. That's the horse she likes. And maybe Luxor Cafe. A little ode to the Luxor Hotel out in Vegas. So we'll see. Mr. Ryan, I know you're not a big sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I will turn you into one by the time we're all done here in 2050, okay?
There's no way I'm not going to absorb some stuff. So,
what about horse racing? Do you ever get into horse racing?
I am not familiar with it in the slightest. Although I am.
Well, then who is going to win? Because you're the kind of guy that'll win. Who do you like?
I've heard a few of the names. Journalism was making me laugh a little bit. So
Okay.
If I had to go with my gut, journalism is silly. But that is not really a logical way to spend your money. So I would not do that.
No, he's the favorite. He's 3-1.
Oh, cool. Well, I like the name.
Now, you won't win much money there, but you got a chance. You'd have to put a big chunk of, I almost said it, you have to put a big chunk of gold on journalism to win some money. But yeah, 3-1, you have to put down some cash. But anybody else you like? Journalism? What other names have you been hearing?
We got a text on the line that says Sammy Sal here. He took number 14 Tistastic at 18-1.
Wait a minute, my guy Sal.
Mhm.
Sal, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah,
Who
we
does
got Sal
Sal?
on
Who
the-
does Sal like?
He says number 14 Tistastic. I think I'm saying that
Tistastic.
correctly.
Okay, and he said he's 18-1.
18-1. Yes.
So he's come down a little bit. He was 20-1 on the morning line. Tistastic. Sal. Okay, you can see me on camera. I'm doing this right now. I'm gonna put down Sal likes Tistastic.
That is also a good name.
I like that name.
That's cool.
Tistastic. There's not a lot of like names that really jump out on this card. Like usually in the silly way to bet is, ooh, I like that name.
Yeah.
Or
that's
ooh,
what
I
I've
like
heard
that
before.
number.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you do it.
Oh, okay, good.
But-
I would hope not. 'Cause
but-
that doesn't seem logical at all.
But the names that kind of jumped out to me on the card immediately, Citizen Bowl was one.
That's a cool name.
Luxor Cafe, obviously journalism.
Very cool names.
Grande was, that was the horse I liked. Flying Mohawk is a pretty cool name. And
Better have a mohawk.
let's see here. A Chunk of Gold, and I think Owen Almighty has a good ring to it.
That's cool.
But boy, after talking with Ed, it sounded like he really liked Baeza a lot, and
That
he's
sounds
12-1.
mysterious.
So if we're all going to hunker down up at the track Saturday, and we're going to put our heads together, we're going to come up with we'll play a couple to win, we'll do a couple of show, we'll play a couple of trifectas and a couple of superfectas. You never know. You can't. What was the old Ohio lottery? You can't win if you don't play. You can't win if you don't bet.
True. Very true.
So if we come into a big bucket of cash on Saturday, you might be on your own here Monday, buddy.
Oh yeah.
That might be all she wrote.
You're not even gonna
Sammy
throw me a
B
pizza
out
party?
after a week. He cashed in at the Derby and he's done. No, I will be here Monday. We'll be recapping the entire sports weekend. I'm going to tell you what, Monday's going to be a big show. We're going to be recapping game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, Cavs and Pacers. We'll recap the Guardians and the Blue Jays. We will recap the Kentucky Derby. I'm sure the NFL will make some sort of news over the weekend. That's their job. They always do. We'll recap Mount Union baseball. They've got a doubleheader Sunday against Muskingum. It's the final games of the regular season before the OAC tournament. So we'll have all that going on. Plus, who knows what will happen. Other NBA playoffs. We will follow the NHL playoffs. I might even have Keller on to talk a little Formula One Grand Prix racing. I don't know. Something I know nothing about. But there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. PGA Tour is going on. We'll be getting some folks to come on and talk golf, especially around the majors. Coming up, of course, the Masters already done, but you'll have the PGA Championship. You'll have the British Open coming up. So that and the majors I really like. Excuse me. I still watch tournament golf. I'm not really engaged like I am for the Masters or the British Open, but we'll be talking some golf as well. And every time I think of golf, and I'm in Alliance, I think of Tannenhoff. And then I think about the milkshakes. And then I gain a pound and a half just thinking about it. But they're probably not open today. Anybody from Tannenhoff want to bring a milkshake over to the station? I'll take it off your hands. All right, we got the news coming up here at the top of the hour. One more big one to go. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a Feel Good Friday right here, AM 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I want to share with you the experience of
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Veterans Day could be renamed. President Trump calling for November change to Victory Day for World War I. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
In a late-night post on his Truth social media platform, President Trump says he wants to rename Veterans Day, the federal holiday which currently honors all veterans who served in the U.S. military. He now wants November 11th to be called Victory Day for World War I, and he wants to make May 8th Victory Day for World War II, writing, "We won both wars. Nobody was close to us in terms of strength, bravery, or military brilliance, but we never celebrate anything."
The White House touting the better-than-expected jobs report for April, 177,000 jobs added last month, just as tariffs on imports kicked in. At the Vatican, the conclave begins May 7th when cardinals will be sequestered while voting on a new pope. 133 cardinals are eligible to vote. 108 were appointed by Pope Francis. This is ABC News.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text SKINNY to 323232 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text SKINNY to 323232 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text SKINNY to 323232. That's SKINNY to 323232. SKINNY to 32.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for eastern Columbiana County until 5:15. At 4:43 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line from over East Palestine to over Calcutta, or along a line from over East Palestine to near East Liverpool, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Weather Service says you can expect 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as well as damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Also, the Weather Service reminding us that a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect for Stark, Carroll, Columbiana, Mahoning, Portage, Summit, and Tuscarawas counties until 7 p.m. this evening. The complete forecast with Mark Johnson is on the way. A Canton woman has appeared in court on charges stemming from the alleged physical abuse of her 4-year-old daughter. 26-year-old Brittany Morris was arraigned today in Canton Municipal Court. Bond was set at $75,000. Morris was arrested Thursday on warrants charging her with endangering children and permitting child abuse. She allegedly allowed her husband to abuse the child, who was taken to Mercy Hospital with multiple bruises Thursday morning. Canton police say she also was severely underweight. The child was then taken to Akron Children's Hospital. Morris's husband will be charged. He is on probation for child endangering and was the main suspect in the abuse of Morris's 1-year-old son in 2023. According to court records, Morris has a history of ignoring child abuse in her home. Not guilty pleas have been entered by 3 teens indicted on charges resulting from a deadly drive-by shooting in Canton. 19-year-olds Trayshawn Jones and Jerry Dotson and 18-year-old Paul Johnson were arraigned today in Stark County Common Pleas Court on charges including murder, felonious assault, and a weapons charge. They are scheduled to return to court for a pretrial hearing May 15th. Bryson Barksdale was found dead inside a home on Auto Place Northeast in April 2023. Police say shots fired into the house were related to gang activity. They do not believe Barksdale was the intended target. Jones, Dotson, and Johnson were arrested in January. They were minors at the time of the shooting. The Stark County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help finding a man for a welfare check. 33-year-old Connor Seaman was last seen Thursday in the 6100 block of Columbus Road Northeast in Nimishillen Township. He is white, 6 feet tall, and weighs about 160 pounds. Seaman has brown hair and blue eyes. He was wearing a gray shirt, green shorts, and brown loafers at the time. Seaman may be driving a silver 2006 Saturn Ion that has a Quonset Hut sticker on the lower portion of the rear window. He may be armed and has expressed thoughts of self-harm. Anyone with information about where Seaman can be found is asked to call the Stark County Sheriff's Office at 330-430-3800. The Massillon School District has released details of the settlement of a lawsuit filed by a former football player. The repository reports the district's insurance company paid $125,000 to settle the suit. The agreement was provided to the newspaper in response to a public records request. The settlement was approved by the school board in November, but terms weren't disclosed. The suit was filed in Stark County Common Pleas Court in June 2024 by a teen who said he was the victim of a hazing incident the previous summer. The then 17-year-old said he was rushed by some of his teammates and stripped naked from the waist down at a school practice facility. The incident was captured on video and shared with other students. No criminal charges were filed. A fan was seriously injured after he fell from the outfield stands and onto the warning track at Pittsburgh's PNC Park during the Wednesday night game between the Pirates and Chicago Cubs. The man has since been identified by the South Allegheny School District as Kevin Markwood. Pittsburgh Public Safety said Thursday morning Markwood remains in critical condition. He is a 2022 graduate of South Allegheny High School. Markwood was a student and football player at Walsh University in 2022. He later transferred to Wheeling University. Walsh posted a message on social media Thursday night asking for prayers. A Wellsville man who allegedly attacked a Dairy Queen employee is scheduled to return to court May 12th for a pretrial hearing. 52-year-old James Wicker appeared for arraignment in Columbiana County Municipal Court Thursday. He was released after posting bond. Wicker is charged with assault in the Wednesday afternoon incident in East Liverpool. Police say Wicker was upset because his order was incorrect and began yelling about it. He allegedly went behind the counter and hit a female employee in the face. Another employee broke up the fight and struck Wicker in the back of the head. A man is awaiting sentencing after being convicted of a fatal drunken driving crash in Kent. A Portage County Common Pleas Court jury found 51-year-old Albert DiTomaso of Kent guilty of charges including aggravated vehicular homicide, aggravated vehicular assault, and OVI Thursday. The verdicts were delivered after less than 30 minutes of deliberation. DiTomaso will learn his punishment after a pre-sentence investigation. Police said he was behind the wheel when his car rear-ended a Spectrum truck parked on the side of Lake Street in January 2024. His passenger, 55-year-old William Williams of Kent, was pronounced dead at the scene. DiTomaso and a Spectrum employee were taken to Akron hospitals with serious injuries. A Youngstown man accused of trafficking a teen for sex is in custody. 25-year-old Nicholas Felder was arrested Thursday and booked at the Mahoning County Jail. He was indicted in September on charges including rape, human trafficking, commercial exploitation of a minor, compelling prostitution, and corrupting another with drugs. Felder is scheduled for arraignment Tuesday in Common Pleas Court. He allegedly gave drugs to a 16-year-old girl and forced her to have sex with him. Felder also is accused of advertising the victim for sex on several websites. The activity took place over a 3-month period. A man will spend 1 year in prison for leading Youngstown police on a chase 3 times in one day. 35-year-old Nathaniel Cheatham of Youngstown was sentenced Thursday by Mahoning County Common Pleas Judge John Durkin. He pleaded guilty to a charge of failure to comply. On December 3rd, officers saw Cheatham speeding in an SUV on Oak Hill Avenue. They attempted a traffic stop, and he led them to Glenwood Avenue while weaving in and out of traffic. Police called off the pursuit and twice more before Cheatham was later arrested on Lakewood Avenue. A death row inmate convicted of a murder in Trumbull County has had his execution vacated. Nathaniel Jackson was sentenced to death for the 2001 shooting of Robert Fingerhut in Howland Township. Federal court records state his sentence was vacated, with the court granting his petition for a writ of habeas corpus. A new sentencing proceeding will be held for Jackson. The court determined his sentencing was unconstitutional because of the trial court judge's bias and misconduct and cited exclusion of relevant evidence. Jackson and Fingerhut's ex-wife were convicted in the crime. She also was sentenced to death. An investigation is underway after a 23-year-old man was killed in a construction accident Thursday afternoon in Akron. First responders were called to a White Pond Drive address around 2:30. A section of an exterior wall reportedly collapsed, striking and fatally injuring the victim. The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office later identified him as Marcus Miller of Millersburg. A driver caused a 3-vehicle crash on a busy Columbus interstate after missing an exit during rush hour traffic. ODOT posted a clip that shows a heavy flow of traffic on I-71 near downtown moments before the wreck around 5:30 on April 30th. A minivan is seen crawling in the middle lane of the 3-lane highway. The driver appeared to have missed the exit towards Dayton and decided to take a risk, coming to a full stop in hopes of cutting across 2 lanes of traffic. As the van came to a standstill, 2 others were forced to abruptly stop. A large passenger van plowed into the back of one of the vehicles, causing a multi-vehicle accident. The driver of the van who caused the wreck left the scene by crossing over traffic to merge onto the exit ramp. The driver has not been identified. No life-threatening injuries were reported among anyone in the 3 damaged vehicles. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 41,317, up 564 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 267 points higher at 17,977, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,686, up 83 points. It's 68 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
73 warm degrees for your Friday afternoon high, but scattered showers and storms could get you wet if you're outside. Cloudy for the most part all day long. Overnight, more scattered showers and storms. Our low, 55. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suit? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? SafeStep walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. SafeStep walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we are back, 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live all over at AM1310WDPN.com. That's the live stream. You can catch us Monday through Friday, 3 until 6. Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for joining us and coming on board here, the afternoon show. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberg across the glass as we're pumping out some good stuff today. If you missed the first couple hours, well, you missed a lot. Hal Pulaski joined us to talk Guardians baseball. Mount Union baseball coach Paul Hesse stopped by. OHSAA football administrator Bo Rugg was on the program, and we talked to Ed DeRosa live from the Kentucky Derby. Ed doing a great job covering the Derby, excuse me, for the Horse Racing Report. All that was on the program today. Again, Steve Dortchuk will be joining us to talk a little Browns, some Browns draft. Looks like the exit, unfortunately, of Nick Chubb. We'll talk a little Shedeur Sanders and maybe see what's going on with the latest situation with the Browns trying to build that new stadium, that new beautiful dome, if you will, over in Brook Park. Phone lines are open if you want to get in right now. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. The text line is open as well. We welcome your comments at 330-536-1146. Don't forget, you can always listen to us on 1310 WDPN, the WDPN Facebook page, the X page, and you can also watch the program right here on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Hope you've had a lot of fun with this week. We've certainly had a ball bringing you all the news and the information and the interviews and all the good stuff that comes with the Sam Bourquin Show. We'll be with you Monday through Friday, 3 until 6. Okay, let's kind of circle the wagons here a little bit. The Guardians are going to be in action against the Blue Jays tonight, game 1 of a 3-game series north of the border. So we'll be following that. The Guards, I think, are 5 games above the 500 mark right now. And they trailed Detroit by a game and a half in the division. We will be following the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are finally going to play some baseball. Finally going to play some baseball. Did I say baseball? I'm looking at it. They're going to play some basketball Sunday. The Cavs and the Pacers. Again, we don't know what time. It's either going to be at 6 or it'll be at 8. No matter, we will we'll all come back together here on Monday and talk about game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Purple Raiders play baseball against the Muskingum Muskies on Sunday. Doubleheader at 1 and 4. We'll see if the Raiders can handle their business and get that top seed for the OAC postseason baseball tournament coming up. And again, Rayfield Rogers Field could be the hot ticket in town. So hopefully the Raiders can handle their business over the weekend and come back home and get ready to play some playoff baseball at the University of Mount Union. I'm going to send Steve a quick little reminder here, and hopefully we can get him going there. So there, I was talking about the Browns to a couple of friends of mine last night, and people that I hadn't talked to for a while, and we were talking about the draft, which was a week ago. And you know how the NFL goes. Usually that draft talk, it starts to sputter out a little bit, maybe by Thursday. But since the hot topic of Shedeur Sanders and some of the moves the Browns made and some of the picks they made, and now with, they kind of redid the contract with Jerome Ford, took his base contract from $3.4 million down to $1.75. They drafted the kid out of Tennessee. It certainly looks like Nick Chubb could be out. And yeah, that's, It's business. It's the National Football League. But I don't want to see Nick Chubb walk out the door. I don't want to see Nick Chubb in another uniform in the NFL. I really don't. But I think that I think that's where we're at. I really do. And some of the stuff coming out about Shedeur Sanders, and again, some of it, yeah, totally believable. Some of it I think is really far-fetched nonsense. And some of it I'm kind of right in the middle. I just don't know what to believe. But one report that came out, this was courtesy of ML Football on X. Apparently, a top 7 drafting team. So an NFL team that was drafting in the first 7 spots. I guess they requested Shedeur to study their playbook for an interview session. Apparently, he arrived so unprepared. They couldn't believe it. And I'll take it a step further. Sanders, I guess, used the time to question the team's leadership, asking for their strategy for supporting him. Obviously, Team X did not draft Shedeur Sanders. But that's not the first time that I heard a story like that. There's a lot of other stories out there too. And then you know that he went to Cleveland John Marshall High School a couple of days ago. Wanted to go in and talk to the kids, and I guess he brought a complete film crew with him, and people were kind of put off about that a little bit. Then I guess he went out to the practice field at John Marshall, and he was doing some sprints and running up the hill, and he had the camera crew there. Look, it's 2025. And if you're about to go in to be a professional athlete, you're trying to get your brand out there. Now, I think his brand is pretty out there. When he was at Colorado, there was a lot of Colorado Buffalo football on TV. A lot of press conferences with his dad, Deion Sanders. A lot of highlights with Shedeur and the Buffalo football team. He's out there. He is known. I told you yesterday, he has the third highest selling jersey in the NFL right now. And he hasn't even gone to camp yet. Not even to rookie camp yet. So I'm still trying to figure out the philosophy by the Cleveland Browns brass as far as the quarterback room and kind of how it was put together. Pickett was the first guy in the door. Then there was Joe Flacco. Then there was Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, the draft pick. Then there was Shedeur Sanders. And we had our 3-question Thursday yesterday, and I asked, come September, who's going to be the odd man out? And I think we were pretty 50-50. You thought that Flacco was going to be gone or Pickett was going to be out of that room. So you were saying that Gabriel was going to stay, Shedeur was going to stay, and then maybe one of the other two were not going to make it. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that quarterback room. It's probably a good thing right now that you've got the 40-year-old Joe Flacco in there. Gabriel just out of college. Shedeur just out of college. Pickett's only played a couple of years in the NFL. Obviously, you need a steady hand in that quarterback room, especially with all the nonsense that has gone on with the Cleveland Browns. And by nonsense, I mean terrible drafting, losing seasons, bad culture, kind of pretty much the joke of the NFL. So it's good that old Joe is in that room. Look, is Shedeur Sanders going to be receptive to what Joe Flacco is speaking? I don't know. Will Kenny Pickett? I don't know. Dylan Gabriel? Who knows? But I'm very interested as well. Who's going to be there in September. The Las Vegas books, the Las Vegas odds makers are telling you that the Browns are not going to win a lot of games. The over-under still is somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5. We play 17 games. Okay? So that's a lot of losing. The experts, the people that know, the people that take your money and build hotels are telling you that the Browns are not going to be a good football team this year. I, for one, I don't think they're going to be a good football team for a couple of years. And hopefully by the end of that second year, you know who your quarterback's going to be. You know it's not going to be Joe Flacco. He'll be 42, 43 years old by then. It's probably not going to be Kenny Pickett. I don't know if it would be a Dylan Gabriel. Maybe it'll be Shedeur Sanders. Or maybe the Browns are so bad this year, the following year, maybe you luck in to a young guy with the last name of Manning. And maybe he starts to turn things around. You know, if you put a little bit of a conspiracy cap on, you put a little bit of a planning cap on, you see how this is all coming together. 2025, coming off a couple of bad seasons, you hold on to Kevin Stefanski. The way you drafted, you're telling everybody we're not going to win. We're not going to win early. We're not going to win the next couple years. We're going to keep our draft picks. We're going to move some things around. We're going to restructure some contracts. We're going to probably make some tough decisions on letting some people go. And we're going to put ourselves in position to maybe get that A1 quarterback. And we're going to let this draft class learn on the job and get better. Next year's draft class to learn and get on the job and do better. And you hope that some of the young kids you got on the team now that you're still going to have under contracts, you know, they're going to be like 24, 25, 26 years old. You'll bring in a couple of veterans. And oh, by the way, look what's coming around the corner. Maybe the new dome, and maybe in 2028, 2029, you're ready to rock and roll. And by that, I mean not compete for the division. I'm talking about winning the division. No wild card nonsense. Winning the division. Hosting a playoff game. I think that's where we might be headed. And I still say that with Andrew Berry in the front office and Paul DeBedesta in the front office and Jimmy Haslam, the Haslam Group, running the show. You just connect the dots. You look how things are setting up. It could come to be around 2028 or 2029. It could come to be. Where do you sit there? How do you feel about the next couple of years? Folks, the Browns aren't winning anything this year. I don't think they're winning anything next year. And by winning anything, I mean, I don't think they're going to win more than 4 or 5 games. But that's a couple of really big drafts, high picks. Maybe you turn that into something. You find your ace, you find your quarterback, and you finally start to get some stability. And maybe then you make a move. Look, this could all blow up in their face. It could blow up in our face again, and we could be the same old sad sack Cleveland Browns again. But I've seen this before in the NFL. When teams are on the cusp of building and opening a brand new stadium, somehow, some way, it always works out that team is ready to play ball when they open the doors. Call it whatever you want to call it, but it always seems to line up that way. What do you think? Am I crazy? Or am I onto something here? 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can text in 330-536-1146. Am I nuts, Ryan?
No, I don't think. I mean, the whole stadium thing you're talking about could just be simple, morale boost. You got a new facility, nice new stuff. The more fans are coming because your new stadium, so the crowds are bigger, louder. I think it makes sense. I can see how that would be something that could track.
I've seen this happen before with other franchises. And I've just got a feeling this is the way that this is going to go.
Well, I'm also of the opinion that slow and steady wins the race. Patience prevails. So I think you're right. Take a year or two, build up the team, gather some good assets, and come out swinging in a couple years. Browns fans we're used to taking some losses anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not like can you believe we got beat in the
nothing new here.
Can you believe we came up just short of the AFC Championship? No,
exactly.
we haven't had any fun since that brutal loss to the Chiefs at Arrowhead a couple of years ago, where I still think we got kind of hosed by the officiating crew. But I just think that this is the only way that this is going to be able to play out.
Well,
I really believe there's no other recourse here unless they're just going to absolutely stink for the next 4 or 5 years again. And I'm talking 2, 3, 4 win seasons. And now by that time, Barry's gone, Stefanski's gone. DePodesta will probably still be there, but the whole thing is going to be turned upside down. And who knows what's going to go on with the stadium. If you ask me right now to sign my life away on a piece of paper and ask me, are the Browns guaranteed to be in Brook Park? I couldn't sign that paper. I think the door is still open a little bit for some major renovations at Cleveland Browns Stadium. I'm not saying that's what people want. I'm not saying that's what I want, but I'm saying that's a possibility. And quite frankly, I'm not a dome guy, so I wouldn't be upset. But I can't sit here and tell you today, yep, the Browns are going to be in Brook Park and they're going to open the doors 28 or 29 and you're going to have football. I can't tell you that. I can't do it. We're going to take a break. News, weather coming up here at the bottom of the hour. 30 more big minutes to go. We'll try to reconnect with Steve Dorchuk and talk some Browns. We'll get you on the phones at 330-821-1310, and we'll have a good old bash here the next 30 minutes on the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. Hiring in April was down slightly from a revised 185,000 in March and came in above economists' expectations for a modest 135,000. The Labor Department reported the unemployment rate remained at 4.2%. President Trump's aggressive and unpredictable policies, including massive import taxes, have clouded the outlook for the economy and the job market and raised fears that the American economy is headed toward recession. But today's report showed the job market remains solid. Apple joins other companies, including Hershey and General Motors, in warning consumers of potential price hikes in the wake of President Trump's tariffs. They estimate they could take a $900 million hit this quarter. ABC's Alexis Christoforous has more.
We know Apple said it's going to start shifting its supply chain, which it had done really since the first Trump administration. But it's moving things over more to Vietnam and to India to get around these China tariffs. But, Apple's not the only one. We heard from GM this week saying that it expects the tariffs to cost it about $5 billion this year. And a number of companies have already said they're going to have to raise prices.
More U.S. children have died this flu season than at any time since the swine flu pandemic 15 years ago. The CDC today said 216 pediatric deaths already have been reported. That eclipses the 207 reported the previous flu season. And this is the most since the 2009-2010 H1N1 global flu pandemic. There are likely several contributors to this season's severity, but one pediatric infectious diseases specialist says a big one is that fewer children are getting flu shots. While flu vaccinations may not prevent people from getting ill, research shows they do prevent hospitalizations and deaths. Newark, New Jersey is a major New York area hub airport, especially for United Airlines. Now we find out air traffic control problems that caused major flight delays and cancellations this week is going from bad to worse and will stretch into the summer. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Earlier this week, flights at Newark were grounded because of air traffic control equipment and staffing issues. Passengers were stuck.
I don't remember things being this bad.
And now Newark controllers who were on the job during 2 brief equipment outages this week are saying they were traumatic events. When a controller files that claim, they can be off the job for 45 days to recover from the traumatic event. That'll make staffing problems even worse at Newark. Controllers have been angry about Newark air traffic control jobs being moved to Philadelphia. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's 67 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Scattered rain and maybe a stronger thunderstorm through your afternoon hours today. Cloudy for the most part, 73 degrees for the high. Overnight, keep that umbrella handy. More scattered rain and thunder. Our low, 55. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
1310 WDPN. We are streaming live at 1310WDPN.com. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. About 35 minutes past 5 o'clock. Certainly want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank my guests from the Cleveland Guardians, Al Pawlowski, Mount Union baseball coach Paul Hesse, from the Horse Racing Report, Ed DeRosa, and Bo Rugg from the OHSAA. We have a big show for you coming up Monday. Lots to review and, of course, lots to look ahead. Hopefully this weather's going to turn here a little bit and we won't have to worry about rain and thunder and lightning and wind and storms and power lines and branches. I mean, we have gotten our share of weather here the last couple of days. So hopefully we're going to kind of turn the corner as we get through May. Mother's Day coming up a week from Sunday. So don't forget about that. Phone lines are open for you if you want to hop in today. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text the program as well. 330-536-1146. Again, text line 330-546-1146. Guards and Jays from Canada tonight. Cavaliers and Pacers on Sunday. NHL playoffs are going on. Mountain Baseball doubleheader at Muskingum on Sunday. Still a lot of NFL draft talk going on. We talked a little bit of Browns there, the last segment on the show. I wonder, well, I don't wonder. I know what it's going to be like when rookie camp starts. You know that NFL Network and ESPN and Fox and NBC, you name it, Netflix, I mean, Prime, they're all going to be in Berea. They're going to be set up. They're going to have their tents, their cameras. They'll be camping out, waiting for Shedeur Sanders and all that to arrive. I went back and I watched it was about a 4-minute highlight collage. It was on YouTube last night. And I was like, all right, I've already really kind of, I told you I formed my opinion on Shedeur and why I didn't think his game would work in the NFL. And that was based on his release of the ball. He reminds me of a pitcher winding up to throw a pitch, as opposed to the quarterback getting the ball, cocking it behind his ear, and letting it go. I said, all right, let me clear the deck. Let me give it another chance. I'll go back and I'll watch a highlight video. Now, keep in mind, the highlight videos are what? They're all great plays. They're not going to put any mistakes or bad decisions or bad reads or bad runs on a highlight reel. So you've got to take that with a grain of salt. I said, okay, let me go back and let me watch this. There was a lot of running around in the highlight video that I watched. And I watched a lot of Colorado football. Believe me, I watched a ton of Colorado football last college football season. Yes, I was intrigued by Shedeur Sanders and Dion and the whole culture and Folsom Field in Colorado and all the bells and whistles and the ESPN game day and Fox Big Saturday and all that stuff. I wanted to kind of gauge and see what that was like. So I watched a lot of Colorado football. Noon kickoffs, 10 o'clock kickoffs, you name it, I was there. So I'm watching this videotape, and I'm thinking, man, this is it's like street ball. It's like 1-on-1,002, the play's not there, now it's time to run. That's not going to work. It's not going to work in the NFL. So I let the tape roll a little bit longer, and I saw some shots of him in the pocket making some throws downfield. They weren't terribly long like the long throws to me were after the scramble. The plays where it looked like they were actually running a play, like an out and in, a curl, a hook. They weren't really long patterns, but he did look kind of comfortable back there in the pocket, and he was zinging it. He was zinging it. And then the last 90 seconds was more kind of improvisational plays. Read A isn't there, and instead of waiting on B and C, he was gone out of the pocket, running, whether backwards, running right, or just running straight ahead. And look, the kid can make some plays with his legs. I'm not even going to argue that. He can make plays with his legs. I just don't know. If there's enough pocket awareness there. I don't know if he can get the ball out fast enough for that to work in the NFL. I just don't know. And it's tough to compare Shedeur to other quarterbacks. I mean, especially the guys in our room. Joe Flacco, it's night and day. He's the prototype 6'6", tall drink of water, back in the pocket, and he's looking downfield. And if A and B aren't there, he ain't going anywhere. He's looking for C and D. And if D's not there, it's time to hit the deck. That's how that's going to go. Dylan Gabriel, just from my watch at Oregon, I think a really good college quarterback. I don't necessarily think a good NFL quarterback. And Kenny Pickett, not a huge sample size with Pickett with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I probably watched more of him at Pitt University than I did with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. Kenny Pickett can play a little bit. Is he the kind of guy he's going to say, hey, get on my back and I'll take you to a 14-3 year? Probably not. But Shedeur is so doggone intriguing. I could do without a lot of the other stuff that comes with it. The extra arrogance, the showboating, the camera crews, the constant worrying about the brand. I could do without a lot of that. But let me tell you something. If you go out there and you win, and you can back it up, and what is it? If you can walk the walk, then I will gladly shut my mouth and I will sit there and I will root you on. Is Shedeur Sanders going to be not a good, but a great NFL quarterback? Do you think he will be a great quarterback. Great quarterbacks take teams to playoffs. Great quarterbacks get you to a wild card game within the first 1 or 2 years. Great quarterbacks get you to the top of your division. Great quarterbacks win you a conference. Great quarterbacks win you a Super Bowl. Can Shedeur be great in the NFL? What say you? 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-536-1146. Hello to all our friends watching right now on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel and listening to us live on the stream at AM 1310 WDPN on X and on Facebook as well. Can the former Colorado Buffalo, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, can Shedeur Sanders be a great quarterback? Do you see it? Can you see a way for it to happen? After watching that highlight video last night, I'm willing to give the young fella a little more of a chance. I still see too much street ball, and I still see a very long release of the football. But I see enough to where I think there could be some magic. There could be some magic there. You know what I could also see? I could also see him being the odd man out in the quarterback room. Folks, he's only a fifth-round pick. Fifth-round pick doesn't make it. It is what it is. And I know it's Shedeur. I know it's the Sanders name. I get it. But if your game's not translating and you can't get the job done and you've got guys coming up in the quarterback room, it may be adios for you before the season even starts. But I think we should all give him a chance, right? You got to give him a chance.
Well, Sam, it sounds to me like your biggest gripe with this Sanders guy is that you're not sure he can play as a team with his teammates.
You know, we're not going to know until he gets in that locker room.
Exactly.
And we're not going to know until they practice together, if they want to hang out together off the field, go to dinner, maybe go check out a Cavs playoff game, go see a Guardians game, maybe go to a show, it's, you know, when guys start bringing in film crews, I got to believe that puts some other guys off. Now, some other guys understand, they know, they get it. Maybe they were that way one time in their career. But when you're a rookie in the NFL, there are certain steps you have to climb before you are like in the brotherhood, so to speak. And you're a full-time 100% member of that team. You know, you can't have what's the roster in the NFL now? It's like 60 guys, 54, 55 regular, and then you got a practice squad. You can't have 10 or 12 guys going one way, 30 going another, and 10 going another. You gotta be together. And you won't know that until he's on the front line. He's working, practicing, sweating, running, studying. I mean, how are his study habits? Does he remember Johnny Manziel? He never picked up a playbook. He never picked up a playbook. First of all, Johnny didn't have a playbook in college. And when they gave him one in the NFL, he was too busy partying. He didn't want to look at the playbook. Is Shedeur going to be a guy that says, okay, I got my brand out there. I got my shows. I got my endorsements. I'm on a roster. I'm in the NFL. Let me stick my nose in this playbook. Let me study. Let me be overly prepared. So when somebody asks me what to do on this particular route, this particular read, where's my X go? Where's my Y go? Where's my tight end go? Where's my back go? Where's the blocking? Is he gonna know all that stuff? We don't know.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna know for a little while.
No, I don't know much about football, but I do know it's a team sport, and there's no room for lone wolves, especially in the NFL. So
Not when you've got 11 guys on each side of the ball.
yeah,
Because I remember
top tier guys.
I've talked to a lot of football coaches over the years. You got 11 guys out there, offensive side, 11 guys on the defense. If you got 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy's doing the wrong thing, it's not working.
Nope.
You're in trouble.
Mm-mm.
So Shador's going to have to, he's going to have to, look, I'm hoping he does well. Look, there would be nothing greater. And I think he's wearing number 5. I think I saw his jersey. I'm not sure. I was kind of hoping he'd keep 2 like he had in college. I don't think anybody on our squad is wearing number 2 that's setting the world on fire. I mean, how many guys have worn number 2 on this team over the years? Tim Couch, Amari Cooper, he wore number 2. Probably a handful of kickers wore number 2. I don't know. Maybe I worry more about that than I should. But I think Shador should wear number 2. I don't want you wearing Jameis Winston's number, for crying out loud. We had enough of that last year. So we'll see how he does. I'm rooting for the kid. I don't know if it translates. I just don't know. And I guess if I need talked into it more, I'll have to go back and watch some more highlight videos of Shador Sanders. I saw enough live action. I went back last night. I watched 5 or 6 minutes of a highlight video. I still see what I thought I saw. But if he can make some changes and he gets coached up a little bit and he buys into what a professional is supposed to be, an NFL quarterback is supposed to be, then maybe, just maybe, things will turn out okay. We're going to step out. Coming up here on about 12 minutes until the top of the hour. If you want to get in, 330-821-1310. You can always text the show, 330-536-1146. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a Feel Good Friday right here on 1310 WDPN. And we appreciate you watching us live on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Stay with us.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
Hey everyone, it's Rex Combs, Rex in the Morning on AM 1310, inviting you to tune in Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for unforgettable favorites, music news, and more. With myself, Clint Marshall on News and Sports, and Mark Johnson from News 5 giving us the weather forecast. Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m., Rex in the Morning, it's all about the music right here on AM 1310 WDPN.
Every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease. Many don't even know it.
I just knew that I wasn't the high-performing person I used to be. Pieces of my past are being erased. I was lucky we caught this at the very earliest stages. I hope that my story can give other people hope. There is life to be lived. Increasingly, there will be treatments. We need to invest even more in research and finding treatments and cures.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program has invested more than $175 million in breakthrough research.
If your loved one or you yourself are sitting there thinking, something is wrong, I'm not who I used to be, you can get some answers and you can get them for free.
Call us at 1-855-345-6237 or visit us online at brightfocus.org/brainhealth to learn more.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Here on the program, we're going to be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Hopefully you are staying safe and staying dry out there. We appreciate you joining us all afternoon here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Week 1 in the books. We can't wait to get started next Monday for week 2 here on AM 1310 WDPN. And don't forget, if you can't listen on 1310, you can watch the show on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. It's live. We got the video. We got the whole deal. You can also listen to us on the live stream, AM1310, WDPN.com, and the WDPN page, X page, and the Facebook page, all live, and you can listen every day, 3 until 6. You also heard our good buddy Rex. Don't forget, start your day. Rex in the morning at 6 a.m. here on 1310, then John Tesh, 10 until 3, and then I roll in here. Well, I don't roll in here at 3, get here at 10, but we do the show beginning at 3 here on WDPN. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg there. Jeff Mears gets us rolling with all the news throughout the afternoon, and if anything breaks, so be sure to call upon Jeff and get the absolute latest with what's going on there. Do want to give another big shout out and a thank you to all of our guests today. Had some good Guardians talk with Al Pawlowski from Cleveland Guardians TV. Now, I almost forgot that this happened today. We had Al on at about 3:10, 3:12, and we were in the crux of our conversation about the Guardians. Might have been talking about manager Stephen Vogt. I think we were. And all of a sudden, the noise. The old National Weather Service severe weather warnings. Well, you can't do anything about that. Once that thing comes over the air, that's it. So I'm sitting here going, oh boy, this EAS warning has been on for about a minute and a half. I'm saying, there is no way Al Pawlowski is still waiting on the other end. There's no way. So the warning goes on for another 30 seconds. We go back. Didn't blame Al at all. So I kind of regroup and pick up the conversation a little bit to deliver to you what we were talking about, and our phone rings. It's Al. He says, hey, I'd be willing to come back on for you. Okay. So we appreciated that. That is first class.
A gentleman and a scholar.
He actually called back, and I mean, just think, you're doing an interview, and all of a sudden you hear this screeching noise, and here comes the guy, or the computer nowadays, telling you about severe weather. So we had a fun talk with Al about the Guards earlier today. I want to thank Paul Hesse, Mount Union baseball skipper, for dropping by. We're talking a little Purple Raider baseball. Good luck to Mount against Muskingum this Sunday. Doubleheader 1 and 4. Handle their business down there. They're going to come back OAC champions, regular season champs. They'll get to host the tournament over at Rayfield Rogers Field, right over here in Alliance, and we're certainly looking forward to checking some baseball out there. Thanks to Bo Rugg, a football administrator from the OHSAA. He joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, Ed DeRosa from the Horse Racing Report. He checked in live today from Churchill Downs down there in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, going back to our conversation we had with Bo Rugg, it looks like there's going to be, again, this is not in stone. Please don't take this as gospel. It looks like there might be a change coming to the Ohio high school football playoff football postseason this year. It feels like, it looks like we might be going to 12 teams as opposed to the 16 that get in now. I think that would be fantastic. I think 16 teams is way too many. I do. 12 is probably a good number. 8, I think, was A1, spot on. They've never had 12 before. Remember, they went from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. They never had that 12 in there. So it looks like, and again, if this comes to pass, this will not be announced probably until July. Because conversing with Bo today on the show, it sounds like they're going to wait until the end of the spring sports season is over with. You crown your champions in all the spring sports. And that usually happens around no later than the middle of June. So then they'll probably take a little break down there in Columbus, and they'll get back into the boardroom, and they'll meet, and they'll ask some questions, and they'll kick some things around, and then they'll come up with what they want to do. I've got a feeling it's going to be 12 teams, and I think that'll be good. You'll have better matchups in the first round. Not to say that it's going to make a huge difference, but it's going to make a difference. And I think that I think that might also shorten this. I mean, you're playing 6 weeks in the postseason now, which I think is too long. And I know, say which one. They're high school kids. They don't get tired. Hey, football is a very demanding sport. We all know that, a very physical sport. I think 12 teams. I think 5 weeks of playoffs, 10 games during the regular season. I think we'd all be happy with that. Bo also touched on, I asked him about, was there any thoughts of the playoff games going to a format of playing games on Friday nights and Saturday nights? And it sounds like that's a no-go. That sounds like a no-go. And it sounds like it's just going to be on Friday. Years and years ago, I would be probably upset at that. Oh, come on, I want more football. I want to do more football. I want to do. You know what? After working all week, doing a show, what have you, doing other stuff, and then doing a game on a Friday night, college football broadcast on a Saturday, I think I'm good. I think Friday nights where high school football should stay, even during the postseason. But we'll see how it all turns out. All right, you hear Phil in the background. You know what that means. It's time to go home. It's time to go home. Been a great week, great show today. Thanks to my guest, Al Pulaski, Paul Hesse, Ed DeRosa, and Bo Rugg. Thanks to Ryan Rainsberg, producer extraordinaire on the other side of the glass. Thanks to all the crew here at AM 1310 WDPN and, of course, Q92radiosports.com. And most of all, we thank you for listening. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Cavs. Go Guards. Good luck at the Kentucky Derby. And we'll talk to you Monday. The Sam Bourquin Show will kick it off at 3. 1310 WDPN. Streaming live, AM 1310 WDPN.com.